What's good, my ghouls and goblins? I almost said, what's ghouls, my goods and goblins?
Hell
What's
yeah.
happening?
That
Happy Reelydays. I've already had a couple sips of Christmas ale, and it's showing. Oh, what do you got there? What are you drinking?
I'll show you.
Better shown rather than told. This isn't a visual format, unless you're listening to us on audio podcast platforms after the fact. And we love you and appreciate you. Apple Podcasts and Spotify and such. I don't know what's happening over there. He's getting something good.
I don't know what's going on, but
strong start. The Coppola. What is that? Is that a Merlot? Is that a cab? What do we got there? And the Coppola.
It's a cab.
Got a cab. Great. I've had Francis's Chardonnay. I'm a fan. We're gonna be talking about that guy's nephew later tonight.
Yeah, we are.
Right? It's his nephew.
Yeah.
And either you know who we're talking about or you don't, but you'll find out later.
Yeah, you'll find out.
Happy Reelydays, ghouls and goblins. Welcome back to your weekly live streaming horror movie podcast, of course. Reely Scared, favorite ghoul in the chat right off the bat. You love to see it. Thank you for watching. Rocking my wretched apparel, courtesy of my favorite ghoul right here. We got kind of the ghoul shirt going. We got a little bit of a ghoul on the wretched apparel today. Welcome. Feels so good to be back live edition. Of course, last week we did not make it to the stream, but we had a little solo audio exclusive ASMR session for Krampus. If you missed that, that's still available. Krampus! Still available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and SoundCloud, of course. But it feels so good to be back in live action. How you guys doing out there? It's a snowy, cold evening. Yeah, felt good coming home today. It's had the snow drifting down. I'm like, this is what I think of when I think of happy Reelydays. This is what I like to see. How you doing over there, Connie? Gremlin time?
Good. I am happy to be back finally. Like you said, I missed the last episode. But if you hung out with us during our Jack Frost watch along, I was back for that. But this is the first episode of Really Scared I'm back for since
that's
a couple weeks ago.
We did have a great Jack Frost watch along. Oh, excuse me, as good as any. Joined by Rob LaBelle. Stephen Mendel also came in. Little cameo appearance towards the end. Speaking of cameos, you might have also caught us on Wrestle Reel this week live.
Yeah, we were on that.
Talking about Santa Sleigh starring Bill Goldberg. You know, we're doing our holiday horror marathon series here all month long. You got kind of a little holiday bonus. If you tune in over at Wrestle Reel, you can listen to us talk about Santa's Sleigh. Had a lot of fun over there doing Wrestle Reel. It feels good to be back on Really Scared tonight. We can't get in here without asking the ultimate question, the golden question, Connie. What have you been watching lately?
Let's see. Today I watched the first episode of the new Stephen King series from Josh Boone, The Stand.
How is it? Because I know you were actually not that excited.
Really good.
Yeah, you like it.
I was not excited for it. But it's incredible what Josh Boone can do whenever he's allowed to do what he wants to do.
Yeah.
Because like the atmosphere and stuff, like you can tell that, like, having seen New Mutants, you can tell that's what he was going for with what he, like, the atmosphere and mood of The Stand. Like that first hour was fantastic. And you can pick up like it's just insane that like what could have been. But yeah, The Stand is very good on CBS All Access. Definitely check it out.
How's that one running? Is that all at once or is it week to week?
It's week to week. I was very upset when the first episode ended with a pretty good cliffhanger. And I was like, all right, episode 2, let's go. And there was no episode 2.
All right. That's a pretty big endorsement coming from you. I'm actually about to start reading The Stand.
Yeah, I was thinking about reading The Stand next as well. Because after seeing this and like I was a big fan of like the 90s miniseries.
Yeah.
So probably gonna check out The Stand next as well. Because I mean, should we kind of spoil? Well, let me finish what I've been watching.
Yeah,
I watched Tenet with the lady. Love that movie. Very good.
The digital buy.
No, I did not buy it digitally. I bought a steelbook.
Wow, steelbook. That's
I shelled out $35 for a steelbook edition of that.
How is it? You got any good special features on there?
There's like a whole entire. They had to put all the special features on a second disc.
Okay.
There's a ton. I haven't gotten to it yet. Haven't really checked it out, but we'll definitely be checking that stuff out. I also checked out. Trying to think. I think that's really it. Besides Gremlins.
Gremlins. It's true. We're going to be talking a lot about Gremlins tonight. That'll be our movie of discussion choice tonight. I've not watched a lot either myself. I watched Gremlins 2 as well this week.
Oh.
Because I thought, we're going to talk about the first one. Why not freshen up on the second one as well, just to kind of really inform my Gremlins knowledge. The only other movie I can think of having watched for the first time is the Robert Zemeckis' Polar Express. Have you seen Polar Express before?
I have in school. It's one of those movies that it's the same reason I don't like the Polar Express, and I don't like it for the same reasons I don't like Finding Nemo. They made us watch that movie over and over and over again in school to the point where I'm like, ugh, fuck this movie.
I never had to watch it in school. I never had to watch it in any context, but we did watch it this week. And I know that movie has a reputation of it's not super well liked. I think it's mostly thought of to be like a weird mocap horror show, right? Yeah. It's not. I don't think history's been kind to it, but I'll be honest with you, I dug it just fine. I don't know. I'm kind of a Christmas sap. If you couldn't tell,
I like Christmas movies. I think my history with it is tainted. But that's the Canton public school system for you. Your own movies.
What class did you have to watch Polar Express in?
Literally any class. Like
my version of that
in science. That was pretty dope.
Gattaca? I also watched that in science.
Yeah.
I don't know what. I love the loopholes that like teachers have to invoke in order to justify having a movie day in class. They're like, I don't know. There's science in Gattaca. They talk about science. My equivalent to your Polar Express and Finding Nemo is teachers would just love to make me watch Remember the Titans.
Yeah, and Radio, both of those.
Radio, yeah. Yeah, they're like, it's family friendly, it's about sports.
All right, we're having an assembly. We're going to throw on Remember the Titans.
Yeah, Remember the Titans. I remember watching it like in history class. All right, I get it. I get history. You wouldn't watch something in gym, but I could get it if you was in gym. We had to watch in like health class. I don't really get where they thought that. I guess sports.
We watched Juno in health class, which was pretty tight.
Oh, that's interesting. That's like a pretty liberal teacher there to show Juno in health class. Interesting. Yeah, that's about all I watched is Polar Express. I kind of dug it. I don't know. It's very weird. Very, very weird movie. Tom Hanks just all over the place. More Hanks. Hanks a lot. You know what I mean? That's what I got to say in regards to that. Chris's Polar Express is Matilda. I don't know if I had to watch. I did have to definitely watch Matilda at some time in school.
Yeah. Not
too frequently. My favorite film I ever had to watch in school was the Ben Affleck steroid PSA where he like runs through a wall. You ever see that before? Yeah, he's like, I don't know, he's probably like 20 years old in it. He's like not a name. It's about Ben Affleck taking steroids and he gets so angry he like tries to run through a wall.
That sounds fucking amazing.
Yeah, I was stunned. I think it was a 9th grade health class, I think. And I was like, wow, that's Affleck right there. That's our Daredevil. There he is, running through the wall. There's our Jersey girl. Radio makes Jessica cry every time. Yeah, I get that. We definitely watch Radio in probably health class too for some reason. I don't know. I guess teachers get tired and fed up. It's just like anybody else in any industry and profession. So you just got to have a put your head down movie day once in a while. That'd be every day if I was in.
Yeah, we watched Norbit in health class.
Norbit?
No.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I remember when we somehow justified watching The Warriors in high school.
Oh hell yeah!
I think that was our film lit class. That was like quite literally the teacher is hungover. We're watching The Warriors.
Yeah, no, we also had like a film elective class where it was just this like I think she was one of the librarians, and like attached to our school was a public library, and they like rented out DVDs and stuff, and so we literally just put a bunch of movies on a list, and then we would watch them throughout the school year, and it was like every day. So we watched so many. It was like a 2-hour class, so we watched so many movies. But we would get this woman to put on the most like ridiculous shit. Like we watched Pineapple Express.
What? That makes no sense.
Yeah, we watched a lot of crazy shit in that class.
That one's even more absurd than my Warriors watch, which is also even just a weird.
Everybody walked out of that class just clinking.
Yeah, it was
milk cartons on their fingers.
Even for a film lit class, like I love The Warriors, but I don't know. It would take me a while to consider that. Like, if you were going to give like an essential, like here's like the 12 movies you watch to understand cinema. Like, I don't know if Warriors ranks on the list, but
see that when I first started getting into movies, that was one of the first movies I watched. Like, obviously, like I watched like The Godfather and all that shit, but Warriors was right up there with like the first like classic movies that I got into.
It's great, man. If street gangs actually were like that, I would be in one. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
If they really leaned into like the gimmicks and the costumes, like we're a baseball themed gang. We dress up like baseball players.
We're clowns.
Yeah, we all dress up like clowns. And if you're not dressed up like a clown, I'm gonna beat you up. Like that.
That'd be sick.
That's great. You know, this is
we should do that. What should we dress up as?
You're not wrong. You know, if you want to.
Should we dress up like Gremlins?
Gremlins? Yeah, I could see that. Or like
should we dress up like these guys?
You could do that right now. Carolers, you'd be on brand, go door to door. That'd be great. You like those guys, don't you?
Dude, I fucking love those guys.
You like the caroling Gremlins.
Yeah.
I do too. We'll obviously get into it.
Yeah, we'll get to it.
I'm really excited to talk about Gremlins tonight. Man, because that's like, we talked about a lot of movies over the course of this show, but I don't think we've ever talked about a movie as beloved and as popular as Gremlins. This is something else for us tonight. Matt watched the first 2 episodes of Lost. What class did you watch that in?
I would fucking love to be in that class.
What class did you watch Lost in? Jessica watched Degrassi and Health class. That makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I guess. But again, I'm almost like, what's that? I never really watched Degrassi, so I don't know like what lessons there is to be learned if you watch that in class. I'm not sure. But I guess I get that. It's a high school show, right?
Yeah. And they love Pearl Harbor too.
I've never seen Michael Bay's Pearl Harbor.
Really? They like that. Like
drop.
Pearl Harbor, you son of a bitch, and you call yourself a movie buff?
Call yourself an American? The fuck out.
Michael Bay's seminal classic Pearl Harbor with Josh Hartnett
and Ben. Ben, that's our roid rage right there. That's our guy.
Yeah.
Spider Gremlin from New Batch's childhood trauma. Yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit later because I did watch the New Batch just last night before bed to kind of keep all the Gremlins canon in films in my head for full context later tonight. We got a great show tonight. I'm so excited. Continuing our holiday discussion series, our holiday horror discussion series. Of course, yes, tonight we'll be talking about Joe Dante's classic, the legendary Gremlins. But not before we hit a couple horror news items of the week.
But before we get to the news, we've got some plugs.
Plug away.
All right, let's see. What do we got? Let's start with Twitch. Can you tell us about Twitch, Taylor?
On Twitch? Well, first of all, if you're not following us on Twitch, you're missing out on Who Are They's exclusive gaming streams, which means you're missing out on Connie Cyberpunk's like 16-hour long adventure thus far. Like how deep are you into that game?
I'm probably like 14 hours now. Probably gonna add on like another 4 hours after this stream.
You going live tonight?
Yeah, I'm definitely playing after Really Scared. I'm gonna do some side missions. I'm trying to clear up these side missions, but with this game, like anytime like you clear out one, like 3 more are tacked on. Like I will be playing this game probably until I die.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Well, I hope that's not anytime soon.
Yeah, hopefully. There's so much to do in that game, and I haven't played in 2 days. There's a void in my life.
You're getting the shakes.
Yeah, like, I feel like an addict. I'm like,
you need that endorphin drip. But it's great, man. It's not every day that you find a game that like engages with you that deeply, where you just want to live in it for a few days.
Yeah,
you've been streaming that a lot, and hey, not for nothing,
too.
I streamed a little bit of Cyberpunk the other night as well. Got into a little, not nearly as much as you. I don't even think I made it out of the tutorial yet.
You made it out of the tutorial. You haven't made it out of the intro, but it took me 8 hours, 2 streams to make it out of the intro.
My God,
the intro is so long.
That's okay. I don't have anything against a long game, so I haven't even gotten to really explore Night City or any of that stuff yet. So I will be popping back in on Twitch at some time to continue my Cyberpunk playthrough, and you will be popping in quite soon.
Yeah, so definitely follow us on Twitch because we're very close to becoming affiliates.
We hit 50 followers.
51 now.
51
followers. We're giving everybody until Sunday to follow us on Twitch. We're going to be picking a random follower to win something special from our Teespring, which is our next plug. Tell us about Teespring, Taylor.
Teespring, it's quite simple. I'm sure everybody's bought something from Teespring at this point. But yes, we do have channel merchandise. Who Are They Real Entertainment over on Teespring. We've got shirts, we've got hoodies, we've got fanny packs, we've got masks, we've got stickers, coffee mugs. Look, let me get you in real close here. Right here. Reely Scared coffee mug. This is a rare piece right there, and you can have one as well. Teespring.com. Who Are They Real Entertainment. And like Connor said, at the end of this week, during this Sunday's Real Talk, we will be doing a random drawing amongst our Twitch followers, and whoever wins that drawing will get to pick one item of choice. Anything. It could be a coffee mug, it could be a hoodie. Doesn't matter. You pick one item out, and we're gonna send it to you for free, sucker. So if you aren't following us on Twitch already, head on over, hit that follow button. It's quick, it's easy, it's free, and it goes a long way in helping us out. Big moves on this channel, man. We're at 50 on Twitch, 100 plus on YouTube. It feels so good. The momentum is just barreling along, man. It feels great.
Yeah.
And we would love for you to be a part of that. So follow us on Twitch, check out our gaming streams, and be entered in the contest.
We have to plug our sponsor.
We do.
The official sponsor of Reely Scared, wretchedapparel.com. Sure, you already talked about it at the top of the show, but get yourself some Wretched apparel. We have our own promo code, Reely Scared, exactly like it's spelled. Our title, just one word, Reely Scared. You get 10% off your whole order. So yeah, help out a small business, small apparel company, wretchedapparel.com at the bottom there, and get 10% off.
It's the gift that keeps on giving. Help out a great new brand with great quality clothing, wonderful original art designs. I'm rocking this sort of ghoulish zombie, courtesy of my favorite ghoul right now. You get 10% off your order. You help us out by using that promo code, and you get something great to wear. And or you could give it as a gift to somebody else. It is the giving season. Happy Reelydays.
I will say they are very quick to make your order and ship it out. Like the orders I've made, received them like within a few days. Like they get to you real quick. Very speedy delivery. Just awesome people over at Wretched Apparel. So definitely give them some love. Get some of their gear and post a picture of yourself wearing Wretched Apparel. We'll share it on the show.
Love it. Love it. We love wretchedapparel.com. Promo code Reely Scared. That shirt is very Heart Attack Man, El Spico says. Is it? I don't know. I love Heart Attack Man. I love Eric Egan, and I've got a Heart Attack Man hoodie in my closet right now. Great music, great people. Shout out to Hardtack Man. Lastly, I don't have a graphic here for it. Lastly, though, I do want to say, in addition to Real Talk on Sunday, we have a little bit of a holiday bonus this Saturday. Not a Really Scared watch along, but a watch along on this channel, of course, of the Who Are They holiday special. That's this whole month. I meant the Star Wars holiday special. Of course, the infamous George Lucas wants to smash it with a hammer. Kind of just became a For Chris's Sake advertisement. That's very interesting. What happened? What happened? Now it's just me. Yes, this Saturday, I believe 8:30 p.m. Matt and we mentioned Chris. I believe Chris.
I don't know what just happened.
You became a For Chris's Sake.
I know. I saw that. I was like, "The fuck just happened?"
That was bizarre. While we're plugging away,
for the sake.
Go check out For Chris's Sake and available on all audio platforms. Listen to Chris Anthony Lopez. Great man, great host, great podcaster. Speaking to Chris, he'll be, I believe, in attendance for that Star Wars holiday special watch along here on this channel, as well as Matt and whoever else decides to pop in. So make sure you queue up your copy of the holiday special. I don't know where you got. I think it's on YouTube, maybe, or maybe you have an old bootleg VHS. But queue it up, tune in, and hang out with the channel at 8:30 on Saturday. There you go. Hey. Jessica in the chat. Wretched Apparel was an issue with their order, but they reached out to me personally and got me my order as soon as possible. Great people with great stuff. Huge fan. There you go. An endorsement from the chat for wretchedapparel.com. Saturday, tune in. Star Wars holiday special. It's going to be Matt, Toby, and Chris. Great. We love it. Can't wait for that. And Stinky and Chunky and whatever the Wookiees are called in that special. Bette Midler, I believe, pops in for a bit. Going to be a good time. And that, I believe, is all the housekeeping we've got tonight.
Dive into the news.
Right into those horror headlines, those Reelyday horror headlines, Connor. What do we got? What happened this week? Tell me all about it.
Oh, so much has happened. Bad Robot, the J.J. Abrams production company, just started their own gaming division of their studios. They're going to be producing games based off of their existing properties, as well as original games and original titles. But some of those, one of those rumored games based on existing properties is a Cloverfield game, which, we talked about, like the ARG games for the Cloverfield movies, which we both loved following those. I'm absolutely excited from the possibility of a Cloverfield game.
I believe, I don't know his name offhand, but I believe the gentleman who was in charge of the alternate reality games for Bad Robot is also taking a head position in their game development division.
Oh, yeah. So
that's exciting. And I agree. The potential for some sort of Cloverfield game, whether it's tying into the film directly with the giant monster or just something else, just some other sort of weird niche sci-fi horror strange subgenre. I would love to see what that looks like. And I believe, they said they were also doing not just tie-in games, but original stuff on a AAA and indie level as well. So that could be interesting. I mean, I know you're a big Bad Robot guy, right?
Yeah, I love Bad Robot. I love J.J. Abrams. Stems from Lost, really. Mission Impossible 3 and Lost were like my first introduction to J.J. Abrams, and I was like, yeah. And then I got into Alias and just everything he's done. So
that's cool. Great.
So I'm excited for that.
Great little new developer. Can't wait to see what they put out. I mean, I sure as hell will play a Cloverfield game, whatever that looks like. Probably inevitable, right?
Yeah. I'm sure they're fast tracking that. They want more people to think about Cloverfield. I feel like so. It's probably going to come sooner than later.
Into it, or maybe we'll get a Mission Impossible game.
That'd be sick.
Think Tom Cruise would come in to drop a couple lines at the studio?
That'd be dope. I'm sure he would do it.
People better wear their fucking masks, though.
I love that.
Yeah, that was pretty amazing. I'm not even mad about it. I thought it was pretty amazing. Actually got a little bit of some other gaming news. We don't usually cover games too often.
Yeah, it was weird how much horror game news there was this week.
Yeah, I mean, they did have the Game Awards, which is where I understood they announced this one here. I know you got to be excited about this. We're finally getting, Bruce Campbell's been teasing it throughout the year. Evil Dead, the game. Look at these guys. They announced it at the Game Awards. It's going to come out next year on next-gen and last-gen consoles. And, of course, who else? Bruce Campbell is coming back to voice Ash. But you can play as other characters. You can play as Kelly from Ash versus the Evil Dead. You see her there. Arthur from Army of Darkness. Scotty from the Evil Dead. Or you can play in PvP as the Kandarian demon himself or itself, however you want to say it. Connor, how excited are you for Evil Dead, the game?
I am so excited for this. I will be getting this. I'll probably pre-order this once they go up. I'm so excited. Kind of.
Are you a fan of Evil Dead? I can't tell from here.
Yeah, I'm a modest fan of Evil Dead. So, I will be playing this probably as feverishly I've been playing Cyberpunk.
Well, this is exciting to me because you and I got to get an Evil Dead crew together and stream this game next year when it comes out. It looks sort of reminiscent. I mean, it's an obvious parallel to draw, but even just from the gameplay, it is kind of invoking that Friday the 13th game.
Yeah.
Which I never got to play, and I believe now that they're taking down the servers as another side effect of this outrageous, never-ending legal battle for Jason Voorhees. But this looks kind of like that. I would never even really know what an Evil Dead game would be offhand if I had to think of how that would.
Yeah, there was a couple on PlayStation 2, and they've really been teasing this since PlayStation 2, the PlayStation 2 games came out.
Yeah.
So this has been a long time coming. So it was so nice to hear that and see something from it. It's been teased for years and years, and now we have footage of it and a release date. So excited.
I'm looking.
Yes, Chris.
Chris is in for the Evil Dead crew. Yeah, I guess you can roll 4 deep and have a demon playing on the other side. Kind of disappointed to see Jane Levy's character from Freddy's remake isn't coming in.
Yeah, but I guess this is more around Sam Raimi's universe of characters.
Yeah. I mean, there's always potential for the DLC. I hope there's no silly rights things with Evil Dead 2. It's we can't use the Fede Alvarez characters.
Yeah.
Fucking lawyers, man. They just goof this up for all of these
lawyers.
It's preventing these things from being as amazing as they can be. But so far, this looks good. I think it's a cool. Obviously, Evil Dead, is very outrageous and over the top and campy. So I think it makes the most sense to make that a multiplayer game. That'd be the best way to experience something like that.
Yeah.
So it looks fun. I'm excited to play that. And as if you couldn't tell, you can certainly expect some Evil Dead co-op streams on this channel as soon as we have the capacity for that. So can't wait to play Evil Dead together. Had a couple movies come out this week. Movies come out. Who knew that?
Yeah.
People doing that shit. So we got some. We didn't personally see these movies yet.
Yeah.
but people on the internet have seen them, so it bears discussing. I think we're finally closing the book on this journey for the film called Songbird. We kind of follow this one from the inception of its idea to now it has been released.
Just to talk shit about it. We didn't even watch it. It was just solely to talk shit about it.
Yeah, I can't. It's worth saying. There's never been another time in the run of the show where we put a movie in the notes that we didn't watch only so we could talk about what other people thought about it. We've never done. The news has never been a movie came out unless we watched it.
Yeah.
But we're kind of ending this plot thread of this show where we followed this absolute.
Both of these movies that we're going to talk about that came out, I think we're probably going to end the thread on both of them because I don't know. I don't want to see either of them.
Yeah, I was never interested in watching Songbird, even from the announcement of what it was. And if you don't know what it is or what it was, it is, of course, the Michael Bay-produced drama, thriller, suspense film about COVID-23, projected in a future years from now where quarantine has not ended and the world has only decayed further into madness. I highly
disagree, and we'll just leave it at that.
we're fans of the Alvarez Evil Dead on this show. I certainly was. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, I thought it was sick.
Songbird. Yeah, man. I mean, this was a self-fulfilling prophecy. We all saw it going.
It basically got shit on. There was one review. I'm just going to pull it up here. I'm going to read it aloud. Because I sent it to you, Taylor. And it was pretty... This comes from David Ehrlich. Am I pronouncing that right? I think.
Oh, so. Yeah, David Ehrlich. I like him.
From IndieWire. He said, for all of its gimmicky appeal, Songbird is bad enough that your entire neighborhood will be able to smell it streaming onto your TV, and it gets worse faster than your nose can adjust.
Yep. I'd seen words like travesty, moronic, and then more than anything...
He very nicely called it shit.
Yeah. More than anything, I've also seen that in addition to just being, exploitative and insensitive and just in poor taste, it's also, I guess, very boring. So it's just like no interesting ideas, no real creative energy behind it, just a weird, effortless cash in on the blight hanging over all of us all year round, going into next year. Who thought we needed to watch a movie about this? Well, we didn't. It was Michael Bay. That's who thought we needed to watch a movie about this. He didn't direct it, but he produced it, and I can't help but put all of it on Michael Bay's shoulders. It just feels like the ill-advised thing that he would think was worth doing. So who'd have thought Songbird shit? And I mean, most films I wouldn't write stuff off having seen it, but I'm so uninterested in seeing this just based on
even the audience score kind of like sometimes I'll see something with like kind of a poor critic rating, but like the audience score is kind of decent. I'm like, oh, don't always agree with the critics, so people tend to love this movie. So I'll watch it, and I tend to think it's okay or end up liking it. But this one, it's universally like there's no divide between critic and audience. 11% critic and 28% audience. Nobody wanted this movie.
That's true. It is rare to see critics and audiences both hating a film. Usually it's kind of a dissonance between the two, but everybody's on the same page. This thing stinks. And I guess we just wanted to confirm that on our show. Yeah. If you were following the canon of our show, we wanted to lock that in. Worst movie of 2020 poses Jessica. That's an interesting question. I think I don't know. I haven't decided what the worst movie I've watched this year is. Maybe because I've been so in control of my own film watching this year. It's not like I've been going to the theater and being like, what's this thing? I'll check it out. It's like everything I'm seeking out everything I've watched this year. So I've not really had anything where I was like, fuck, I'm so mad I sat through that, So I don't know, but I certainly wouldn't be shocked. I mean, that would be appropriate, right? The worst movie of the year at the end of all this ends up being the one that tried to cash in on the pandemic that ruined everybody's lives. So yeah, even just from like a spiritual standpoint, the spirit of it is too corrupted. It must be the worst film of the year. We also had a movie. This was another one. This one came out in theaters. You can go buy a ticket and watch this right now, I think. I don't know how this works or what theaters are open or what the rules are anymore. But somehow, somewhere, some way, Paul W.S. Anderson's Monster Hunter came out. Look at that.
It looks like a sci-fi original.
Man, again, talk about ill-advised in a different way, in a different context. But I mean, this thing, you almost would like, this is something you would make up as a bit. Like, oh, Paul W. Anderson made a Monster Hunter movie. I bet he just puts Mila in it, and it's about Mila going through like a wormhole and landing a Monster Hunter. It's just like, that's what it's about. It's some silly, it's the same thing as Resident Evil. It's like some silly backdoor thing of like, well, Mila's our action hero. We got to get her in the movie somehow. She's in Monster Hunter. However, big surprise is people like, I mean, it's not glowing up the world, but some people apparently are digging on Monster Hunter.
Yeah, it's not getting, Songbird level praise.
No, but what is?
But it is, it's decent. It's not getting horrible reviews, which I gotta be honest, I'm pretty shocked about. It's got a 47% rating on. It dropped a little bit from when I put in those notes. It was 58%, which I was like, holy shit. But,
whoa, the handoff.
Yeah, Californian.
The handoff Swenson's Cup. Love to see it.
Yeah, I love that.
Oh, you got a galley boy waiting for you after the show?
No, just one in California. But yeah, it dropped a little bit, but still sitting at a 47% Rotten Tomato score. So that's not horrible. It's decent.
Could be worse.
But they're praising the visuals and the fun action, but where it kind of loses its footing is the plot, which, I mean, it's a Paul W.S. Anderson movie, so.
Yeah. I there was no way I was going out to the theaters to watch this. No way. It's kind of astounding to me that they actually followed through with the theatrical release. I guess they were like, why not? Why not put it out? Who cares? If anybody will go see a movie in theaters, we may as well find that person. But I mean, people not universally hating this. Maybe it's not on VOD or anything right now, right?
No, but I think it's got that. It's 2 weeks, I think, right?
So it's coming out soon.
Yeah. Yeah,
maybe I'll check it out.
I'm not entirely sure, but I'm pretty sure. Like, it seems like most movies are getting like a 2-week VOD. Maybe
I'll check it out, but I probably, if it's like $20 rental, I still don't think I'm going to check it out. Like, I'll wait till we go down to like a $5 rental, or some streamer picks it up. Maybe I'll give it a shot then. Yeah, I've never played Monster Hunter, so it's not like I'm Monster Hunter faithful, but I could tell just from the trailer and synopsis, this did not do. Though I think they're largely like kind of storyless games. They're more like exploration and grinding and hunting monsters. So much more than a linear like story. So I guess you have kind of carte blanche to do what you want, but I don't think anybody would have thought modern military woman falls through a portal and lands in Monster Hunter. It's the same as like Sonic.
Wait, is that the plot?
Yeah, it's like takes place now, modern. She's like a soldier lady. I think, isn't T.I. in the movie too?
Yeah.
He's a soldier man then. And they fall through some like portal and they land in Monster Hunter World, and they have to find their way out, and they team up with guys with big swords like that, which is what the game actually looks like. So like that's what you would actually want your Monster Hunter movie to be. But again, it's such a Resident Evil thing of, here's this character we made up. Mila Jovovich plays that character, and she's the main character now. It's the old Anderson bag of tricks. It's almost charming in his like persistence. You just keep doing his thing. I wonder what's next. Which game could he do next where he just inserts Mila Jovovich as like a fanfic character, you think?
Fall Guys.
Fall Guys? That would be it. They're just doing their Fall Guys things. Or like Among Us. Yeah. I was actually thinking about it. You can make a pretty sweet Among Us movie, I feel.
Yeah.
Like a paranoia thriller in space. Like kind of Ridley Scottish, kind of John Carpenter-ish. I don't know. I shouldn't say this, because if I tell people my ideas for movies, they make a fucking story, and I get no credit. I get no bones.
Because you really have been talking about that Buzz Lightyear origin story for fucking ages.
I came up with that in college, talking about it.
Yeah, like 2015, something like that. Like fucking forever ago.
I knew it was a good idea, and they snatched it away from me. So you know what? Never mind. I'm picking the Among Us movie. I'm putting it back in the bag. You didn't hear about it. But if Mila Jovovich wants to be in it, shoot me a text, Mila. We'll work out something. Hey, we got a lot of Nick Cage news.
Fuck yeah, we do.
Our new segment. We're opening in the cage and seeing what's inside tonight. We got some character posters for what is assuredly, maybe not maybe it is. I don't know. One of my most anticipated films.
I do want to say you did make it like its own section in the show notes.
The latest in Nick Cage.
So that's going to be a regular thing.
A lot of Nicholas notes this week. We've got character posters teasing the monsters from Willy's Wonderland. let's check them out. We've got the Chameleon, as it was called, and of course, this is about Nick Cage battling animatronic monsters. And that's the Chameleon. We've got the Gorilla, which I like him, okay, because he's got like this. He's got this very clear Donkey Kong flavor to him with this tie, right? Like, not a lot of monkeys out here wearing ties. So when you see one doing that, you're like, that's DK.
Yeah.
He's the leader of the crew. Next up, you got the Knight. Now look at him. This guy looks more like a sports mascot to me. He's got kind of this human face, kind of scrunched up. This is great audio for the podcast listeners. We've got the Ostrich. Now the Ostrich isn't messing around.
Fucked up beak.
That is a messy beak if I'd ever seen one. That one's not messing around. And of course, we have Nick Cage himself as the janitor.
Got a cut on his face. He's found some animatronic animals, mascots. You can tell he's been through the ringer. The fun begins this winter.
That's very exciting for me because it is Happy Reelydays, which means we're in the winter. I doubled up to make sure there is not a set release date for this film still.
But they release these posters and it says winter. So what? Can we expect it before February? Like between now and February?
I would love that. Usually it goes like not too long after the posters drop, the trailer shows up. So I'm hoping we got like a teaser, but I'm hoping we get like a true, a traditional trailer that kind of gives us, because we still not really seen much. Like they've been giving us these little morsels, right? Little piecemeal bits promising us this movie. I can't wait for this.
I can't wait. We're probably going to have like a dedicated episode, like where we just talk about that movie. Like no news, nobody you're watching. It's literally just Willy's Wonderland.
It's gonna be our longest episode yet.
It's gonna be 5 hours long, and we break down every second of the movie.
Every minute is 10 minutes of discussion. It's gonna be longer than the Twilight Marathon. It's gonna be a hell of a show.
Yeah.
Spooky Ghost in the chat recalls seeing something about an Among Us show for Showtime. That can't be. Surely I would know. I'm in the business of having to look this stuff up every week. Surely I would know. But if it is true, god damn it. They got me already. They probably greenlit it in the time between me saying that and Ghost saying that in chat. They greenlit it, signed it away. Mila Jovovich is starring. So I can't wait for Willy's Wonderland. But we got a little more Nick Cage news. And now this is quite a promise on the part of Nick Cage, we've teased earlier, of course, this is who we're talking about, the nephew of Francis Ford Coppola, who crafted a beautiful cab for you to sip on tonight, as well as your Swenson's California. Prisoners of the Ghostland, starring Nick Cage. He himself said, this might be the craziest movie I've ever been in. Or excuse me, this might be the craziest movie I've ever been in. What do you think? It's been a while since I had to try.
Holy shit! It's Rick Rage.
You don't know. He's somewhere behind. He's somewhere behind the screen there. The plot: when a notorious criminal hero is sent to rescue an abducted girl who has disappeared into a dark supernatural universe, they must break the evil curse that binds them and escape the mysterious revenants that rule the Ghostland. Cage himself said, "It's out there. I wear a skin-tight black leather jumpsuit with grenades attached to different body parts, and I don't rescue the governor's daughter from the state line where they're all ghosts, and bring her back, they're going to blow me up." Just typo in my notes.
That sounded exactly like him, especially when he stumbled on being versus bring. He's like, bring. I mean,
Cage is kind of tough to do because like sometimes he's down in here, but then sometimes he gets a little crazy and he goes up here. This is, if the man himself said this is his craziest movie of all time, that is a hell of a promise.
And he's doing a Five Nights at Freddy's-esque movie, and that's bound to be pretty crazy. And he's calling this one his craziest?
Yes, this is coming from director Sion Sono. Hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. He did films like Suicide Club and Love Exposure, and also has Sophia Boutella and Ed Skrein in it. What do you got there? Some
potato chips.
The potato teasers. I couldn't pull it. That's it. Good shit. Those are good. You got like diced potato, little cheese, little jalapeno for them.
Yeah.
That's good, dude. Shout out Swenson. That's a sponsor. I wouldn't mind.
Yeah. Shout out to the fiance. Bringing home.
Shout out to the fiance. Cheers. Yeah, we're in for a great Cage year. It's got to be said. Between these two films, and then I believe also he's in some. Is it? I think it's just called. It's just called Pig. He's in. Do you know about this movie?
No.
It's like he's a pig. He's a pig. I think he's a pig farmer who lost his pig, and he's on like a journey to find the pig. It's just called Pig. I like that a lot.
We'll be getting there. We'll be getting there. Don't worry. Wait. No, we took this out. But yeah, Nobody does look sick.
I did take it out, but if you want to talk about Nobody, go for it.
No, we don't have to. We can talk about it right here. Nobody does look sick. It's Christopher Lloyd, and then his name's slipping my mind.
Bob Odenkirk.
Bob Odenkirk from Better Call Saul, Little Women. He's in it. It's from Stahelski, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
That's Stahelski from John Wick fame.
Yes, that's the one. And yes, Chris Swenson's might be a worthy stop at WatCon.
Oh,
Get you a little galley boy in your system. This looks it looks dope. And like I saw the description, it was like it's John Wick with Bob Odenkirk, and I was like, yeah, all right.
And then
and I was like, oh shit, wait, but it really is though. Yeah. That's exactly what it is.
It's with a cat, right?
A cat?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's basically like basically the same thing as John Wick, but with a cat. He's not an assassin, but like his cat dies.
No, that's not it. He's just protecting his family, isn't it?
I'm pretty sure his cat dies. I
don't remember that. I only watched the trailer, like one or two times a couple days ago. I thought it was just along the lines of like he accidentally gets back and like he's not a hitman. He was like
he's just like an everyday guy.
A tough guy who got out of the life and became a family man, right? Spooky Ghost was thinking of The Last of Us, not Among Us. Yes, those are two very, 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 very different games.
Last of Us is going to HBO.
Yeah, and I am excited for that show as well.
I don't know. Can for school, Jessica, is there a cat death in there?
I don't think there was a cat thing, and I don't think it was that 1-to-1 on John Wick.
I saw a tweet because I didn't see a cat in there too, but I was like kind of watching it while working, so I was like, because it said something like it listed all the similarities with John Wick.
Yeah,
and someone said something about a cat. I don't know, maybe.
I didn't get that piece. I could just see that it was, he's protecting his wife and daughter, I believe it was.
Either way, looks awesome. Thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up. Nobody looks sweet. I didn't know Bob had it in him.
Yeah.
Odenkirk's a hell of an actor, dude. Because it's not even. You would think it'd be weird or jarring when you put up that trailer and see him in that mode, but really, it's not. I would never, ever, ever think of him in that role. And the range on Bob Odenkirk, what a legend. You love to see it. For school. No, he retired and accidentally gets back into it by defending something. There it is.
Okay.
Yeah. It is the John Wick thing of like, he got out and they're bringing him back in. It's that.
I'm thinking I'm back.
Yeah, it's exactly that. There's that great scene in the trailer where like his house is getting robbed. He's like, I'm going to knock this dude's lights out. And he's like, no, I can't because I'll relapse into becoming a hard ass. So I'm just going to let him steal my stuff.
That reminds me. I have to check to see if there's a $60 John Wick figurine that I can buy.
You definitely need to find that out for yourself. You got to treat yourself. Little Women's Bob Odenkirk, Chris, that one.
Yeah, that one.
My Little Women. Oh, man. We got a couple of trailers. It's been a while since
Wait. One more piece of news.
You're right.
Earlier on in our reiteration of Reely Scared, we talked about Daniel Isn't Real. That was one of our first movies that we reviewed.
Yeah.
Adam Egypt Mortimer, has a new movie out that we also talked about the trailer earlier on, called Arch Enemy, with Joe
Manganiello.
And he says that Daniel Isn't Real and Arch Enemy are in the same universe, called the the Vortex trilogy, because and Daniel Isn't Real opens up with a vortex, and Arch Enemy opens up with a vortex. I haven't seen Arch Enemy yet, but I'm really excited to watch it. It looks sick.
It looks awesome. I can't wait to check it
out. He teases that there's going to be a third film in this Vortex trilogy where the characters from both films kind of collide. But spoilers here. At the end of Daniel Isn't Real, there's kind of like, did they die? Did Daniel and Luke die? It's very open-ended. Here, he kind of spoils it. Daniel and Luke are coming back for this third film to be in this conclusion to this trilogy. Very good for that.
That was fascinating to hear. Again, for those longtime Really Scared fans, those longtime Ghouls and Goblins, you may remember the only thing I kind of was a stickler on for Daniel Isn't Real was I just wasn't sure that the ending just didn't kind of hit me right. So very fascinating to me to hear that the ending perhaps is not the ending and there's more to this story that we haven't seen already. And like you, I've not seen Arch Enemy. I think it looks awesome. I can't wait to check it out because I think it is out on VOD.
It's a $5 rental, but you can buy it for only $1 more.
It's worth buying. Worth buying, I'm sure, especially if it's going to loop back to Daniel Isn't Real, which was a movie I largely enjoyed. I thought it was a really cool original idea. And this looks like a very different movie. It's kind of a riff on superhero action movies, but I'm sure with a much different twist and kind of dissertation.
Kind of like a visceral feel. I mean, Daniel Isn't Real was visually stunning as well as like just the story. It's just very like grimy almost.
Yeah. A really cool riff
similar.
Yeah, a really cool take on like the imaginary friend type story, or like, invoke something like Fight Club. It's along those lines, but it's coming at it from a horror thriller perspective. And Arch Enemy looks different from that, and so I'm very interested how those collide. A very kind of Shyamalan move.
Yeah,
sort of an Unbreakable to Split to Glass type move.
Mm-hmm.
Like these two movies who are seemingly completely separate until you kind of wink at everybody and let them know, no, they're not. So I'm interested to see how link up. I think he said his next film won't be that Vortex movie. He's going to do something else outside of that first. But he's coming back to it. You got it these days, man. People are going to give you the green light and let you make films. Going to help you out. I mean, who everybody's tempted by that franchise, that universe these days, And hey, good on this dude. Good on Mortimer, this director, because like what a sick move to do it with original films, original scripts, original concepts, and not be adaptations of video games or comic books or reboots of something else. Like, I'm going to make 2 original films and build a franchise out of it. Really cool. And I can't wait to watch Arch Enemy because it looks really, really sweet. Joe Manganiello is a great actor, and I dug Daniel Isn't Real, so I'm excited to see what that movie's all about. Definitely going to have to find time to watch that on my holiday break.
Adam, if you're listening, probably not, but if you are, we're talking about your movie. Come on for an Arch Enemy episode. We love your work so far. We can't wait to see Arch Enemy. We would love to have you on.
Come on for any episode. If you want to talk about Willy's Wonderland.
Yeah. Fuck it. Come on.
You know what? Even if you want to talk about Songbird, we'll meet you on that. I don't know why, but we will accommodate you. Maybe. Well, maybe. We'll see. We'll see. You got to charm us a little bit first. Got some trailers. Been a while since we kind of spotlighted new trailers, but we got one for a film that I am personally so excited for.
You sent me this, and you were like, we have to talk about this, and I watched it. I was like, what the fuck is this? Watched it. Yeah, we're going to be talking about this.
Yeah, we got another trailer. We've had a couple, but we got a final trailer for Psycho Goreman. Look at him. He's so fucking cool. Psycho Goreman. We should have seen this film by now, too. I think it was going to show at South by Southwest, which, of course, didn't happen. I think there's supposed to be a virtual South by Southwest, and that just didn't happen either.
Yeah.
I've been waiting to see Psycho Goreman all year, but we now know definitively coming simultaneously, theatrically and to VOD on January 22nd of next year. We got a trailer for it. This film is about perpetually bickering siblings Mimi and Luke unwittingly resurrect an ancient alien overlord who's been entombed in their backyard. They nicknamed the malevolent creature Psycho Goreman, who to their possession of a magical amulet is forced to obey their childish whims. We got the new trailer. Connor, what do you think about Psycho Goreman?
It looks insane. It looks funny. It looks gory. I can't wait for it. Like, I was surprised how much I laughed at the trailer.
Yeah. I love the end where what was it? The kid's like, "Can I do anything for you?" And he's like, "You could die," or something like that. And the kid's just like, all right, cool. It's great. To me, he cuts a very kind of Power Rangers, Ivan Ooze. Yeah, he looks, but also very much like a member of GWAR. You know, he's a little scarier than Power Rangers, but it looks amazing. It feels like some weird, like Super Sentai version of Hellraiser, because it's like this guy shows up, and I guess other monsters from other dimensions are zapping in to find Psycho Goreman and capture him or kill him. So he's like hanging out with these kids who he has to listen to them and hang out with them and like also fight out.
That was one of my favorite parts of the trailer, is like when the enemies show up to fight Psycho Goreman, and the little girl is like so stoked that she can make him kill people now.
Yeah.
It's like, yes!
Yeah, Psycho Goreman looks so good. I've been waiting for this movie all year, and I'm very excited to finally know when we're going to get to watch Psycho Goreman. So expect more Psycho Goreman discussion on the show, because this is like a day one watch for me. This is a no-brainer. I don't care what the price is. I'm booting this up day one and checking this out. It is coming to Shudder eventually. Shudder did acquire it. So when it finishes its sort of theatrical VOD run, I guess they'll release the date on when you can just stream it to Shudder. But I'm not even going to wait for that. I love Shudder, but I want this movie as soon as possible in my eyeballs. So can't wait for Psycho Goreman. We also got a trailer for a film we talked about before, which is this new Wrong Turn film, which we now know is just called Wrong Turn. They're doing that whole thing, you know. But I guess I definitely get it in the context of Wrong Turn, because it's like, I don't even know how many of them.
There's 7 or 8 of them.
Yeah, if they just put out like Wrong Turn 9, I'd be like, okay, like I wouldn't even think about it again, you know. Sure, I'm sure you made that movie.
I just want to say it opened up with like from visionary or acclaimed director Mike P. Nelson. I was like, who? And I looked it up. These movies aren't that acclaimed. I don't know why they put that.
I don't know that I've seen any of his prior films. I know he made The Domestics, but I haven't seen that. I guess it depends on what circles you run in, right? I'm sure there's movies we talked about on the show that aren't acclaimed per se, but we would think they were based on our tastes. I don't know. I'm not familiar with this director. I'm not really familiar with Wrong Turn as a franchise or series anyway. I've seen the first one. I think we talked about this before when they just announced this movie existing. I've seen, I think, the first one, and I think I've seen whichever one Henry Rollins is in. Mm-hmm. And I think that's all.
I've seen a few of them. I haven't seen all of them. Seems like this is just a total reboot.
Yeah, kind of a different flavor on this. They did release some new images too. It's about like a group of hikers going through the Appalachian Trail. What do you know? They take a wrong turn. They run into a group called the Foundation. Got Matthew Modine in this.
Yeah.
Modine, that's a get. They run into this group called the Foundation. I guess exists like pre-Civil War. So they have this kind of secret society. Got like kind of this spooky animal trapper, fur trapper skeleton thing. This looks like a different vibe from what I remember Wrong Turn as being.
Yeah, they're not going with like the deformities.
Yeah.
They're just going straight like, this is our land, we're gonna fuck you up.
Yeah, they don't look like, it doesn't seem like cannibalism is a facet of this group, right? Which I don't know if that was what the first one was, right? They were weird mutant cannibals, which you love to see. I don't know if they always maintain that through all the films or if that was something they abandoned at some point. I have no idea. If anybody in chat is more familiar with the Wrong Turn series, feel free to let me know how that went, because there's quite a few of them by now. But I mean, this is something different. It could be, I mean, it looks more polished. I think there's obviously some thinking in just calling it Wrong Turn and being like, this is a jumping on point. You don't have to have watched the other 15 films to get this. I don't know. It feels like there's more of a deliberation and a different vibe for these films. So maybe it could be worth checking out. I mean, it didn't look bad from the trailer. And that's, I don't have any sort of reverence for Wrong Turn, but I know that this is written by what's the guy's name? What's the gentleman's name here? Alan B. McElroy, who was the writer of the original Wrong Turn. I don't know if he wrote any of these subsequent films, but I know he wrote the original. So, I mean, hey, there's promising. And if it's like the guy who came up with this whole thing had a new idea, and got it made and wrote it, I mean, that's promising to me. If anybody can make a new Wrong Turn, may as well be the guy who thought of it in the first place. So, I don't know. Looks okay. It looks different. I mean, if you're going to do it, may as well do something different. So, one of those things is like, sure, I'll get around to probably checking that out. Looks like they're coming at it from a different. They definitely want to differentiate it from the like straight to DVD series that the Wrong Turn became. That's coming out next year. I believe it's getting January 26th, next month even. A one day theatrical release, January 26th via Fathom Events. I'm guessing it'll go VOD the same day. I'm almost like, why even do a one-day release? What theaters got going on there? They can't just give this like a 2-week run, Maybe the distributor just didn't pay enough money, I guess is what it comes down to. But
probably.
I mean, what else they got to talk about in January? They should put this out for 3 weeks. And they should put Psycho Gorman out for 4 months.
Yes.
And make that the highest grossing movie of the year. Yeah, Wrong Turn. Looks all right. Looks like a different spin on Wrong Turn. That does wrap up the news and trailers we've got. However, before we get into our Gremlins discussion as promised, and I am looking forward to our Gremlins discussion, got a little exclusive review, quick little real review magic from our own Matt Thomas about a new film by the name of Greenland. Greenland? I don't know how you'd say it. This new Gerard Butler joint. We're bringing him in right now. The man himself. Matt, how are you? How is Greenland?
So hi everyone. Nice to be back on.
Welcome back.
Greenland was I was informed last minute yesterday that I had a press screening link. Like, hey, by the way, you were supposed to know about this, and the place we're running it through didn't really let us know that you won't know until an hour beforehand. So, Greenland, you're gonna watch that tonight. I'm like, okay, I haven't done a review in months. I'm not gonna turn this down. I will say I went into this blind for the most part. I didn't know the premise. So I was really interested to see what I got. And ultimately, I was really a fan of it. It stars Gerard Butler, Marina Baccarin, and I forget who the kid. I don't know who portrayed their child, but it's about this this architect and his wife. And basically, there's this disaster level threat about to happen to the world. And he gets this presidential notice that he's been selected to be taken to this safe area and be safe, hunkered down, bunkered down, whatever you want to call it. And ultimately, it's just about the struggle of getting to this area called the Greenland, where you're going to be bunkered down, try to survive this. And at first, what I really found interesting is in all disaster films, they try to play it off. Oh, it's just these meteor fragments. Nothing big is going to happen. And then as the story progresses, you get an idea of how giant this thing is about to be. Well acted. The connection between the family was honestly pretty great. It's what sold me on the film, because you wouldn't expect a disaster film to have that deep familial connection that they had in this. So I was overall impressed. The effects were awesome. The tension was just this natural tension that you wouldn't have expected from a disaster film. Like, it was natural, real life things. Like, the son has diabetes, and
the son. I was like, the son? The son has diabetes. How the fuck does that work?
No, but their son has diabetes, and when they initially get to the government zone, they realize that he had taken his blanket out of his one bag that he was allowed to carry, and his insulin came out. And then Gerard Butler's character is going to get the insulin, and because the wife mentions to the armed forces that, hey, what we need to like hold on a second. My husband went to go back to get his insulin. They're like, insulin? He's diabetic? Oh no! Any pre-existing condition type people are automatically turned away. We're not risking this. So there's these crazy situations like. I don't know if either of you watched The Office. I know Connor has. Connor loves The Office.
I watched The Office. What do you think? What kind of heathen do you think I am?
Remember Roy, Pam's original boyfriend?
Yeah.
He plays a character where at some point later in the film, he basically tries to their son to make sure that he can survive and be taken care of properly. Like there's a ton of insane and out there situations. But because we're in this end of the world scenario, it works. Overall, I'm going to give Greenland a 3.5 out of 5 meteorites.
Oh shit!
This is coming to Amazon soon, right?
Actually, it is going on demand tomorrow.
Okay, and then Amazon after like their month or whatever. Yeah.
So yeah, Greenland. Really, I'm really
tomorrow. That's high praise coming from you for a disaster film.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna check it out.
I was about to say I know what Connor's probably gonna watch this weekend.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, better than Geostorm?
I never saw Geostorm, but probably.
It sounds like it already.
Geostorm is a great film. Wait, have you seen Den of Thieves, Matt?
Yeah, I have seen Den of Thieves.
That movie rips ass.
That movie is so fucking cool. I know what I'm gonna watch tonight. Actually,
I think it's on Netflix still, isn't it?
Netflix.
Yeah.
You're going down to the den.
I can't wait for the second one. They're making a second one.
Yeah, they are.
I hope that still remains true in this time of chaotic filmmaking. I hope they still somehow find the time and the money to make that.
Good. I don't care what anybody says. Den of Thieves fucking kills.
That movie rules. I'm down for some Gerard Butler action.
So I'll be checking out.
Is that man just sticking to like the disaster films now? Because wasn't he in another one right before Geostorm?
Well, he's also
the Angels Fallen series. That's what it is. The Angels Fallen series.
He loves saving the president from disaster. And they're making another one, aren't they?
They're making the fourth one.
Have they said what has fallen yet?
I don't think so.
What's left, dude? It's got to be like the moon is falling.
It might just be Geostorm redo, and like the International Space Station is falling.
They should be like, they got to put. That's the one where Morgan Freeman's the president, right?
Yeah.
Because they got the other one where it was like Channing Tatum and Jamie Foxx that came out like the same time. Yeah, they should just make it like he puts him on the moon to like try to. Okay, I'll put you on the president on the moon. Nobody could hurt him up there. Well, they know there was a bomb installed on the moon. I'll watch Geo. No, I was gonna say Geostorm. I'll watch Greenland.
Yeah,
I remember us talking about the trailer on here a long time ago, and I actually thought it looked kind of halfway decent.
Yeah, I was shocked because the only knowledge I had is what you guys spoke on however long ago. That's the only knowledge I had. I knew back in like late September, early October, I was actually supposed to go see this in a theater, and then 4 days before that screening, it got canceled. So, yeah, it was good. Surprisingly, I wasn't expecting to enjoy it, but I really dug it. So. Granted, the downside is I'm having to watch these things on my bigger computer monitor. So what I did is I put it on my foldable computer table and turned it towards my bed and chilled in my bed and watched it. But hey, what can you do?
What can you do but watch Greenland? That's all right. I'll check that out. Based on your review, I actually will check that out because like that was something I totally would snooze on. But if you're saying it's worth a watch, I'll give it a watch.
Yeah.
I'll drop the meteor on that one for sure.
Oh, that's all I got. Enjoy the rest of your show, guys.
Thank you, friend. Thank you for installing that wisdom, which means it is time to get into our discussion of course, of 1984's Gremlins, baby.
I love these guys.
Look at these sons of bitches. You love to see it. We're continuing our holiday horror discussion series. All month we've been talking about holiday and Christmas themed horror films as part of our Reelydays marathon. Started off with Silent Night, Deadly Night. Moved on to Krampus with our Jack Frost watch along, and now we are talking about Gremlins, which we touched on before. This has got to be, it's kind of almost intimidating in a weird way. This has got to be by far the most popular movie that we have ever talked about. I'm really scared. So by virtue of primarily doing these new release movies, you know, these are movies that haven't really built up that solidified reception or fan base or legacy yet. But this came out back in the 80s and is beloved. I mean, this is a classic.
Yeah, it's a classic.
Everybody knows Gremlins. A real pop culture like Tenet, you know what I mean? Like everybody knows Gizmo, they know Gremlins, they know Mogwais. This is Joe Dante's 1984 classic, Gremlins. Connor, what do you know? Do you remember offhand? Like, what was the first time you saw Gremlins? Because obviously we've seen this movie before.
Yeah. I was very young. I honestly can't remember. But I was very young when I saw it, and it's one of those movies that I would just revisit and clamor for, you know, someone to put on.
Were you young enough to be scared by it when you saw it?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
But the more I watched it, I wasn't like scared of it because I thought Gizmo was adorable. I wanted a Gizmo.
You gotta. I mean, where else to start but Gizmo, man? Gizmo is so cute that like I want to cry when I see him. Do you know what I mean?
Yes. Anytime, like when he's introduced in the like underground store and he starts singing, like
oh shit,
I'm like, oh, he's so precious.
Gizmo is quite literally too good for this world. As this film and the sequel prove time and time again, Gizmo is too good for this world. I actually didn't see Gremlins until like I don't know. I was a little bit older. I don't think I saw it until I was maybe like 10 or 12 years old. So my read of it was a little bit different. It's weird. What I saw before Gremlins, what I saw as a kid was Critters, which is like the weird offshoot ripoff of Gremlins. That was one of those movies where I like stayed up too late and caught it. I think it was like Critters 2 or 3, whichever one like a little baby DiCaprio is in. I saw that one.
That's 2, right?
Maybe it's 2. I'm not sure. I've not revisited Critters since I was a kid. That would be something fun to do sometime. But I remember that was one where like I was terrified of it. But like Critters, I think is even more absurd, almost parody of this, which is already very funny and ridiculous.
Yeah.
So, probably wasn't meant to be that scary, but messed me up as a child. So I saw this later, and so it didn't scare me so much. But it's the kind of movie you fall in love with. But I do notice this kind of through line of like this consistency of people like adults still like my favorite ghoul still scared of Gremlins. What wouldn't watch it when
Liv is terrified of Gremlins. I can't. She gave me the reasoning why she's scared of it. I think she said she felt bad for Gizmo.
I get that.
And like she wanted to cry anytime she saw them.
I definitely get that. It's true. I don't know the full reasoning for Jess, but I imagine it has to have something to do with seeing this movie too young of an age and being frightened by it. Because as an adult, you see it and it's not scary per se. It's definitely has that horror influence that, you know, thus we're talking about it. But from what I understand, that was definitely kind of a controversy when it came out because the idea of this horror fusion comedy was still not, you know, there was like Mel Brooks movies, you know, like Young Frankenstein, or there was like Rocky Horror. I think both of those were out prior to this. But the idea of like fusing horror with family-friendly comedy was something else. You know, and obviously it's produced by Steven Spielberg, who by then was already a household name. And that was like somebody that like families could trust, like family audiences could trust. I guess this was a very kind of controversial movie when it came out, though. For that reason, was that families were taking their kids to go see Gremlins, and it would prove to be a very upsetting experience for them. Did you? I didn't know this. I just found this out today. Did you know that Gremlins is primarily responsible for the PG-13 rating?
Really?
Yeah, I did not know. I guess it's this paired with which Indiana Jones was coming out. I don't know if it was Temple of Doom by then, because this came out the same year as an Indiana Jones film, which is also Steven Spielberg. I don't know if it was. I'm not up on my release date. I should know that. Temple of Doom, one of the Indiana Jones movies anyway, it came out at the same time, where it was like the MPAA was like, this is way more intense than a PG, but it's not intense enough for an R. We need to figure out some sort of middle ground, because it was PG. That's what it was rated when it came out. And kids were getting traumatized, and parents were very upset because they felt they'd been duped into taking their kids to this horror film. This was partially responsible for PG-13 existing as a concept at all. So it already sort of shows you the effect this had on moviegoers in the 80s culturally. It was kind of a game changer in a lot of ways. And I think that's part of what makes its legacy so strong, is that it is a perfect marriage of a very funny movie and kind of this lighthearted, weirdo comedy, but with also this monster creature feature horror film. And that we're kind of more familiar with that idea now, those two genres crossing over, when you think of something like Shaun of the Dead comes to mind. That which is sort of a parody, in like Romero movies. And this isn't a parody, although the second one kind of is a parody of the first one. But it's kind of a new idea, and I think it's one of the greatest examples of you can be funny and scary at the same time, which is something we've examined on this show, is the relationship that comedy and horror have with each other and why those seem to work well, and people seem to be able to bounce sort of fluidly between the two genres and story, the types of stories. So this is I think it's a very unique film for its time.
Yeah.
And its legacy speaks for itself. It probably, as far as, we're talking about holiday movies, is probably the one that has like the least to do with the holidays, which is kind of funny because I think
Gizmo was a Christmas present.
Yes, Gizmo is a Christmas present. It's one of those ones that's set during Christmas. But as far as what we talked about thus far, maybe has the least to do with Christmas as like a plot point as the other films, especially considering we have Black Christmas coming up as our next episode. This is kind of the outlier, but it's the most, if you had to make somebody think of like horror holiday hybrid, this is probably what they would come up with. Maybe Krampus by now, but anyway, I digress. This movie is huge. It's legendary. This is religion to some people. People love Gremlins, and it's really cool to finally talk about a movie like this on this show.
Yeah, and I hadn't seen it in a while, probably a few years now. But watching it again, it's enjoyable as fuck.
Holds up.
It is so enjoyable and funny and cute and endearing and scary. Because it is still kind of not scary, like terrifying, but there are some creepy parts.
It surprised me coming back to it, because like it has been a little bit. I think this is when I try to pop up around Christmas time. I think it had been a few Christmases since I last did so. But yeah, it always kind of surprises me how kind of gritty it gets at times.
Yeah, like the kitchen scene with the mom. I love it. I love how distracted the Gremlins get by food. They're like, yum, yum.
They just want to eat. They love to eat.
I related to the Gremlins a lot. There are several scenes. We'll get to one in particular that I related to.
You have that with the Gremlins where you kind of feel bad when they're getting murdered?
Yes.
I do too.
Because the only god-awful one is Stripe.
Mm-hmm.
He's a real dick.
He's a schemer.
Just I want to eat, drink, and have fun.
Yeah, they just want to party. I mean, they're definitely like shitheads, but they're just trying to have a good time. So it is.
Shitheads, but it's that shitty kid that you can't be can't help but to be like, come on.
He ain't that bad. It's like he came from a rough place in life. So you know what I mean? Like he's got a good heart.
I know he's throwing his shit right now, but Yeah, he's kind of cute.
My man was a weird genetic byproduct of somebody else
being bad after midnight.
Yeah, you know, he came out with the deck stacked against him. What are you gonna do? Yeah, no, I'm the same. I'm like that in a lot of movies with monsters. Like, even to harken back to Spielberg, even like Jaws. Like, by the end when Jaws explodes, I'm like, Jaws is just an animal, man. He didn't know. He didn't know what he's doing. You gotta figure something out. You didn't have to hurt Jaws like that. I don't know, but that's just me. I'm like that in all sorts of creature features and things like that. I end up feeling bad for the animals. I don't know if you're meant to feel bad for the Gremlins. You're obviously meant to feel bad for Gizmo.
Which I do constantly.
I feel bad from him even when he's having a good time, I feel bad for him.
I'm like, I just want to hold you. Like, you should not be out in the world right now. You should be snuggled up in bed. We should be watching some cartoons.
Yeah.
Like, just hanging out.
Even when things are going, like, even when he's in the shop in Chinatown, like, I'm like, why is he in a cage? Let him out.
With a blanket over him. Like, just let him hang out. Like,
singing his tune.
Well, he can be like a bodega. What are those? A bodega cat?
Yeah, you got there.
Oh, sorry, I'm on like my fourth glass of wine.
I feel you. I opened up another Christmas sale. It's not something I often do. I'm just in the mood tonight. I got the Reelydays spirit permeating around me.
But yeah, he's like a bodega cat. Like, just let him hang out, like on the counter, greet people, give them like little headbutts.
But they can't. You know, they know. The shop owner knows you can't trust this role with Gizmo. You can't trust this role with Mogwais. Which, by the way, the only thing that really doesn't hold up is anytime they do anything involving Asian people in this movie.
Oh my God, yeah.
Christ. Like, welcome to the Fu Manchu Emporium, 1984. Like, even the shop owner is one thing, but like there's like that joke where Billy's dad makes about like having dragon breath and like a gong goes off in the background.
Yeah. I would be like, huh? And he's like, oh, bad breath.
That stuff doesn't hold up very well. I know it's
about the dad's like constant hawking of his shitty inventions.
Yeah, it's a good bit throughout.
It's funny, but in the real world, you'd want to knock that guy out.
Yeah, it kind of ties in to the idea of Gremlins, because I forgot that this film actually even got into the base idea of what a gremlin was, which was like the sort of superstition amongst like World War II pilots of like, oh, something's going wrong with the plane, the engine jammed up or something. It's because you got a gremlin in your plane messing with things. I'd forgotten that this film even harkened back to that, which obviously there's that new film coming out, that Shadow in the Clouds, which is about that. It's like more of a World War II fighter pilot take on the idea of gremlins. But I forgot they have that. Who is it? Who's the actor? Dick Miller. He's all paranoid about gremlins, which is also he's like the Chinese are sending them over here and they're messing with our. It's like all the Asian stuff in here, man. What I get it was a while ago. I get it was the 80s, but I don't know. Why was that okay? Where are we?
Another film that the kid's girlfriend, I can't remember the actress's name, but she was in Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Yeah, Phoebe Cates.
Also, that was a few years before this, I think.
I think you're right.
It was around the same time. But stereotypical Asian character in that, like over the top.
Yeah.
So I think it's just a product of the 80s, that stereotypical Asian character, even in Indiana Jones.
Right. And look, I just watched the second Gremlins last night, and it's just as present in that one too.
Harder on it.
The first scene again, we're in the shop, and then you have, I can't remember the actor's name, but his whole career is like playing stereo. He's the guy in 16 Candles. He's like the cameraman in the second film. It's just like, you know, Asian stereo. He's a guy from like the Midwest too, which is funny, but he's like always playing these heightened Asian stereotypes throughout the 80s. So I don't know what was in the water at this time in American culture, but we thought that was super funny and okay to do, to just outwardly mock anyone from the Eastern Hemisphere. A lot of Orient getting thrown around in this. It's like, oh my god, that's the part that doesn't hold up very well.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite like part or scene or moment in this movie?
This is full of great scenes. And even from the first reveal of Gizmo is fantastic. Gizmo is just, as a concept, amazing. Definitely the precursor. I never thought of this before, but this is like Baby Yoda before Baby Yoda.
Yeah.
Watching it now, all I could think of was like, holy shit, this is totally what they were thinking of when they made Baby Yoda. Because it's the same. Because again, it's it's a puppet. It's an animatronic.
Because you bet your ass every kid had like a plush,
right,
Gizmo. And
they knew, and that's kind of what the second film definitely parodies that too, of the merchandising potential of Gizmo and the Gremlins. The second movie's bizarre. It's just like this weird cartoon parody of the first movie. I think. What do you think of the second one?
It's been so long since I've seen the second one. Isn't there? Well, first let me tell you about my favorite scene in the first one.
Okay. Oh, yeah. You brought up the image.
The bar.
Yeah. Them ripping shit up in the bar.
They pan out and you see the fucking Gremlins spinning on the ceiling fan. I get a kick out of that because that is me. That is me. That is the Gremlin I kind of relate to the most.
Yeah.
But no, that whole scene is so funny.
What I really love about that scene is that when it opens, Phoebe Cates's character is like serving them all. Like she doesn't know how to like handle the situation. She's like, all right, I'll pour you some. All right, light your cigarette. She's like not quite terrified yet. She's just like, I don't really know. I'm not equipped to deal with this situation. So I'm just gonna continue doing my job, even though all the patrons here are these little green hell beasts that are like reshaping my entire understanding of life and what's possible. Like, I guess I'll pour him a drink. I don't know.
Poker and like, there one has a gun. Yeah, they're smoking. They're drinking beer.
I love thinking of the internal logic. Like this movie is like, if you're a nitpicky type, like if you're like that CinemaSins type, you're like, well, what is this? This doesn't make sense. Like, this movie's your worst enemy because it's like, where do the Gremlins get their little tiny clothes? How do they understand what they're doing and why they're there? They have like these weird insights into like pop culture.
Yeah.
They're like referencing stuff. They've got these little outfits. They know what Christmas caroling is.
And they're technologically advanced.
Yeah, and like that part
all
makes
kinds of electrical hijinks.
That part makes a little bit of sense when like the like core concept of Gremlins of like, these little guys who get in your technology and they mess it all up and like lead to your death or your downfall. Like that makes a little bit of sense, but them like playing poker and smoking cigarettes and stuff, like them getting to the bar and knowing what to do there is so funny.
Dude, there's going to be lots of videos of WhatCon when we're together. There's going to be a lot of videos of us just being chaotic.
There better be a video of you hanging onto a ceiling fan and spinning around. The Gremlins are good, man. They're super funny. You like, it's one of, even at the center of this film, like you can't think too much about it. They don't really make movies like this anymore where they're just like, look, this is how it is. You either buy it or you don't. If you don't buy it, then sorry, this isn't going to work for you. Because like
the last movie I can recall seeing, like just like blindlessly, like just mindlessly enjoying it, just it being just so fun, is Bill and Ted Face the Music, and that's a sequel to like a popular '80s franchise. Yeah. Like, so it makes sense that it still had that same heart, like the originals did and like Gremlins did. Like, yeah, that you're right. It's not found often.
we've as an audience, we've been conditioned now to always ask kind of those questions. I think it is a consequence, perhaps. It's not necessarily a bad thing that people are thinking more critically about movies, but we have been kind of conditioned by like message boards and YouTube videos, and where like these video essays and hyper critiques are so available to us now, where it's like, well, this didn't make sense. This subplot didn't track. This is full of stuff that doesn't track. But you just have to kind of leave your preconceptions at the door and just roll with it. Like even the rules of Mogwais, and again they make fun of this in the second film, but it's like they don't really like. Okay, they can't be in bright light. That makes sense. Don't get them wet. You know, you can't really get into the biological science of that because you're like, they don't drink anything. How do they start? So like we're saying they're pretty much magical beings at that point.
Yeah.
But then the rule, of course, of like, don't feed them after midnight. It's like, well, what? Midnight's so relative. It's like we have different time zones. What do you mean? They have that whole scene in the second one where it's like, well, what if you get on a plane and you fly from one time zone to the next and you eat in this time zone? Does that still count? Then a gremlin bursts out of the console and eats his face. It's super. The second one I like. I think I like this.
Isn't there a scene where they're like in like executive like building, and they're all dressed in suits?
Yeah, I mean the whole movie is that they're like invading TV sets. There's like there's a whole thing. They like kill Leonard Maltin, who's like reviewing the first Gremlins. Like it's so weird and meta and all over. Again, kind of ahead of its time. That meta humor was not really. I think everybody knows what that looks like now. But the second one's nuts. So the second one's bananas.
Oh, I have to check it out.
The second one's bananas, and like
I think it's. I was probably last time I saw it. I was probably like in 7th grade, 8th grade, and so it's been forever since I've seen the second one.
I think I like the first one more, but the second one's so weird, and like Joe Dante's almost like resentfully making it, where he didn't want to make a sequel for a long time, and then they finally convinced him to do it, and so he's just like parodying. That's a hard word to say. All the choices of the first one, but it's good. It's fun. The effects of the second one hold up a lot more. All the gremlins and Gizmo and everybody, they look way better. Where the budget on this doesn't show that much of the first Gremlins. It holds up pretty well, I would say, with the exception of the scene where they're all like hitting the street for the first time, and it's very like stop motion clay, the pack coming down the street. But whenever you have those chaotic scenes of like the Gremlins filling up the bar and going wild, or they're in the movie theater, I think all of that holds up pretty damn well. I think they look
when they're devising the trap in the theater, and you see the like silhouettes of all of them coming through, like that is very well done. Yeah.
It's kind of amazing what they accomplished. This was, I think, a pretty. I think it was like a $10 million movie. You would never think. The second one, you can tell it's like the budget got ramped up. I think they got Rick Baker doing like the puppets and animatronics on that, and it really shows. That's where they introduce things like the Bat Gremlin and the Spider Gremlin, and it gets really heightened and bizarre and weird. I think I like this one a little bit more though, because it isn't so tongue in cheek and it is sort of more straightforward. Yeah. Let's talk a little bit more about Gizmo and how he's been mistreated by the world, because like. Right from the get-go, his fate isn't even in his own hands. He's being sold as a commodity, as a retail good, under the table without the store owner's permission. You know, the kid sells him to Billy's father secretly.
$200.
$200, which is apparently a steal from the sound. Or no, it's a great bargain for the shop owners. Apparently, kid can't help himself. He's got to give Gizmo away. But like. They give this family the rules, and like not even 24 hours later, they broke all 3 rules. Relatively simple ones, like don't get him in the light, not get him away. Okay, I can see that's kind of challenging, you know. And again, you can't really bother thinking of the science of that, where you're like, isn't there hydrogen in our atmosphere, and you can't like bother thinking about that stuff because it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, instantly I was like, so you're not gonna ever give him something to drink? Like what?
Yeah.
And then instantly I was like, I'm not going to think about this.
Yeah. He breaks all the rules instantly. So it's like the shop owner was right. He's like, there's a lot of responsibility that comes to owning one of these things. and you're not up to stuff.
Given the kid didn't really break the rules, it was the people around him.
Yeah, but it's also like negligence on his part.
Yeah.
It's like you had this little.
Yeah, Corey Feldman, like, is the one that spills water on him, right?
I think he's the one who bumps the jar and it spills on him.
Yeah.
He's not in this very much, but he's pretty good.
Yeah.
His like interaction, like the physical acting of like reacting to Gizmo, it's good. I almost wonder if there's like a version of this where you would make it like a younger kid with Gizmo, and if that would even be a better story. I don't know. I mean, we'll probably get into the premise of a Gremlins 3 before we're done tonight too, because we've been led to believe that's not out of the question yet either. But yeah, they break all the rules. I mean, imagine getting a sweet little angel baby like Gizmo in your life. Imagine receiving that, and before like the week's over, you fucked up all three rules. Not that complicated, and you messed up all of them. You would be so careful. I would be so careful. That sweet blessing in my life, Gizmo, he's so adorable. He sings.
Yeah. Like angelically sings.
Oh, that's right. Matt's bringing up Gremlins TV show. There is a Gremlins cartoon coming out.
Secrets of the Mogwai.
Yeah, which I'm interested in. I'm a little skeptical about that because it goes back to what we were saying, where it's like, well, you just kind of roll with it and you don't need it explained to you and how this works. I mean, it's called The Secrets of the Mogwai, so I imagine this is going to tell you everything about where they come from and why it is the way it is.
But also begs the question, why not just make a fucking movie?
Why not just make it a movie? As long as they manage to tell you where they come from.
What was the stipulation in doing a animated TV show versus a live action sequel? Like, where's the disconnect there that was okay to do?
I don't know. From what I understand, it's another one of those things where the rights are weird.
Okay.
Like maybe somebody else has the TV rights that they bought a long time ago, but somebody else has the movie rights.
The HBO Max, which is Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers, right?
Yeah, Warner Brothers put out both of these movies, so I don't know. I don't know what the situation would be on that. Maybe that's just an easier sell. They're like, I don't know, Gremlins cartoon. Sure, go make it. But that I know Chris Columbus has written a script for a third. We talked about it on the show.
Yeah.
He's written a script for a third one. So I don't know. We don't really know what his idea is for that. Oh, I have seen an interview somewhere. I can't remember if it was Joe Dante or if it was Chris Columbus, but the only thing that they shared that was present in the idea of a third Gremlins was that a bunch of tiny Gremlins would combine to form a Gremlin kaiju.
Oh my god!
Like they were literally like, no, it's going to be as big as Godzilla and it's leveling a city. I don't know how I feel about it. I feel like that's too much.
Yeah.
That's too.
I want Gremlins 2023, not Gremlins 3. It's Gremlins 2023. Make it like not a Gremlins 3, but like you know what I mean. Like
I think
like
you're
get back to the core.
saying you want it to just be called Gremlins.
Yes.
I don't know.
I think of what the first one is.
I think you could pull off Gremlins 3.
You think so? Kind of like Bill and Ted 3?
Yeah, because Gremlins isn't that thing where it's got like 9 films in the series or it's been rebooted or like there was a really bad one, I mean, this came out the same year as the first Ghostbusters. And they tried to do that, right? Where they put out the 2 Ghostbuster films and then decades later, they're like, well, we'll reboot it. And everybody was like, I kind of wish this was just Ghostbusters 3 though. And now they're rebooting Ghostbusters again next year. I feel like this, if you just said like, yo, it's Gremlins 3, everybody would be like, hell yeah, I've seen those Gremlins movies.
Okay, yeah, I guess you're right, because this is more kind of beloved.
Yeah, and you want to bring Zach Galligan. What do you think Zach Galligan is like? What's that character doing? Because the second one's so funny where it's like, I don't know, he's working in the city now and Gizmo's there again. Like that's although I think the second one, I just watched it. I think the second one ends with him still having Gizmo. So I guess you don't have to find an excuse for those two.
Do you think Gizmo's like ageless?
May as well be. They got all these weird
like a tortoise where like he can be like 300 years old, kind of like Yoda.
Yeah, his life is a fucking nightmare, but he's still alive. We've seen Gizmo but put through the ringer in these films. He never dies. So I gotta.
The end was so heartbreaking. That was the first one where he's like, "Oh, he wants to say something to you." He's like, "Bye."
But you know what? I do agree. That made me want to.
I know. I started crying. I was in bed at like 1 a.m. Like, I love you, Gizmo.
He was so cute, and I will give credit to the script.
I'm tearing up talking about it. I fucking love Gizmo.
He's amazing.
Sweet baby.
He's so pure. He should be elected to office. He's amazing.
Yeah, I figured it out. Like what my cats remind. It's been so long. Like I've been trying to figure out what my cats remind me of. Pickles is Gizmo, just a sweet angel baby, and Waffles is a gremlin, just a fucking nightmare.
I am so on the same wave as you. I was having the same realization watching Gremlins as my own 2 new kittens. But for me, Birch is a Mogwai, but he's not Gizmo. He's one of the shithead Mogwais. He's like still got kind of a mean streak, but he's not that bad. But Brambles is a full-on gremlin. A straight villain, just plotting your death everywhere that she goes. That I saw him right on. They look like gremlins. If I had a graph, I could pop them up right now. I should have.
Surprisingly, he's not fucking around back here. But he has the big ears that are way too big for his head. He has the tiny head.
Yeah.
He has the pot belly. Like he's a full-on gremlin.
Oh man, the end of the film, there's a different version of this film, right? Where like they'd be like, "Oh, Gizmo wants to say goodbye," and then the shop owner would be like, "Well, I'm doing a not a racially insensitive voice, but this
Thank God, I thought this was going to take a dark turn.
I would never, but this film would. I'm not going to do that. But the shop owner would be like, "Well, Gizmo seems to like you, so I guess I'll let him stay." And but I was like, I felt bad, but I was like, "No, get him out of here."
Well, at the same time, I was like, I think they've learned their lesson. Like the kid clearly has an attachment to Gizmo, and what is the shop owner going to do? Put him back in a cage and put a blanket over him and never pay attention to Gizmo ever again? Like, I think he's worse off with the shop owner. Let the kid,
I don't know.
about to move out. Like, just let him keep Gizmo and like.
I don't know. When Billy had Gizmo, he ended up strapped to a dartboard.
Yeah, that's true.
It's not a great life in the shop, but at least it doesn't send an entire town into peril and have him being potentially murdered by his weird offspring that go yum yum and smoke cigars. That like, what's the worst that could happen? It happened when he was living with Billy. The worst thing that could have happened happened.
Like if someone came into my home and was like, your one cat top rope body slammed your other cat. True story. It happened. We're gonna have to take him. You have very poor management skills with your animals.
Yeah.
It's not my fault. He's a fucking maniac. Like, just let me deal with it.
But if before the point of sale, they said, here's the 3 things you can do and they won't become a maniac. And then you're like, well, before the week's over, I think I'm going to do all 3 of those things super hard. You'd be like, well, guess what? We're taking them back. You fucked up and you've completely disheveled the infrastructure of your entire town, and people have died. People are dead now because you couldn't take care of your pet properly. An old lady was launched out a window.
I was losing it. That's one scene I was losing it. Like, she gets launched. Like, just right out the window. I was cackling.
If I had to give any example of a scene that's like, this is it. This is the film in a nutshell. It's a horror film, but it's really funny. It is them messing with her motorized stair.
Yep.
I don't even know what you would call it, but when
her chairlift.
Your chairlift, thank you. Her chairlift, they mess with it so it blasts off at light speeds. And you just get this great shot of this old lady dummy just blasting out the window, going like 100 feet across the neighborhood. It's such a funny shot. And they set it up by making her, very despicable. And she goes to Billy's bank and says, I want you to give me your dog so I can kill it. Comes and thinks that's a reasonable thing to say. your dog messed up my Christmas decorations, so please give me your dog so I can kill it.
It's reminiscent to the old lady in Santa's sleigh.
When we were talking about Santa's sleigh, I was like mixing those up in my head.
Same.
Had just watched 2 films about old ladies.
Like, thank God she got launched through a window.
Yeah, let it be said, if you're an old lady in a holiday film, make sure you're not an asshole, because you might get blasted off the road by Bill Goldberg's buffalo, or you may get launched out the window by a gang of gremlins. You're going on a journey if you're an asshole in these movies, Granny. Yeah. Watch it. Watch your tone. Don't be rude. Yeah, that scene's great. You also touched on, let's talk about the kitchen scene, because I think that's when the film really takes that pivot into horror. But does it in a way that doesn't feel like, oh shit, we're watching a different movie. They're all part of the same story in a way that's quite impressive, I think. And this of course comes after Billy breaks all the rules. He gets Gizmo wet. He multiplies and all these other Mogwais, who are a bunch of shitheads out of the gate. It's got to be said.
Yeah, they are kind of like, what makes them different than
right.
Gizmo? Because you thought that it wouldn't be unreasonable to think that Gizmo came from the same kind of reproduction.
That would be it, right? Maybe that's what this show is going to look at. Is like Gizmo.
But, I mean, what makes them so shitty?
I wonder is it like their birth so inherently wrong that by them existing they're just assholes.
This got deep.
like Gizmo, I don't know how in like a world uncorrupted by humanity, if Mogwais were allowed to just sort of progress naturally and live out their life cycles and build their culture and society, does that look okay? Or is it because you broke one of the sacred rules, and these things are like, it's like the fallen angel Lucifer, like your entire existence is incorrect, is wrong, and so right out of the gate you're just genetically coded to be
just an abomination,
just a complete burden on everybody around. Because Mogwai is the sweetest little sweet angel you could ever see, and they're like. They are Mogwai. They're not gremlins. Like gremlins are a whole different level of mischief. But I mean, I would not be.
Mogwais were like borderline gremlin behavior. Like they weren't as bad, but they were still pretty shitty.
Yeah, they're definitely not sweet angel baby Gizmo. They're already doing like the yum yum thing.
Clock, like electrical wiring to fool.
Yeah,
people they were inherently bad.
That's true. They're almost invested in becoming.
They're aware of what they can become.
Yeah, and they want to accelerate their journey to that end. They're like, I know I was born into this life to be an absolute villain. Let's cut out the foreplay and let's just get there. Put me in the cocoon quickly as possible.
Go there like that deep.
I don't know. I don't know what their inner monologue is.
I hope so. I hope they have the balls to get this deep.
Oh, in the origin story?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, if you're gonna crack it open. But that's what I'm afraid of, because the film just is like, the film doesn't lay it out. It sets those rules for you, and they don't even make them.
What we're discussing is like, it is rich. I would love to see this.
Yeah, it is a rich discussion. I don't know. It's true. They're just coded with those. It is interesting that they have distinct personalities, which the second one gets to even more.
Mm-hmm.
The second one just cuts to the chase, and the Mogwais basically are gremlins as soon as they get born in the second one. I guess maybe they just cut out the redundancy, but so yeah, they go through the whole thing. They trick Billy into giving him chicken wings after midnight. They go in there to disgusting cocoons. Again, Billy, though, asshole, gives one of those Mogwai away to his science professor at school, who's like, oh yeah, let me just start drawing blood and putting you in a cage and committing these tests. Again, Mogwai as a species are too good.
Maybe a Mogwai needs love and understanding in order to be inherently good.
Yeah, I don't know.
Do you think they're all born? Is this an analogy for like man itself? Like we're all inherently bad, and it's how we're brought up that makes us good.
It's kind of interesting that you say that because I can't remember. Rick Baker did the Gremlins for the second film. I can't remember who or which sort of studio did the Gremlins for this film. Maybe somebody in chat knows, they can let me know. But I guess notoriously they were the people designing the Gremlins and the puppets and things were getting aggravated in this film because Spielberg kept coming back and making all these changes and saying, we want them to look like this, we want them to look like that, change the color scheme, maybe their ears look a little bit different. And they didn't get what Gremlins were until it came time to design the Christmas Caroler ones. And when they put their little clothes on, they went, oh shit, I get it now. It's a parody of humanity. They're like representative of the absolute worst that exists in all of us. And we're going to magnify it and parody it and put it on display in a film, the worst versions of ourselves living out the lives that we're already living. Because that's it. It has this holiday flavor to it. So it's like the Gremlins are greedy. What do they want to do more than anything? They want to consume. Yum, yum, right? That's all they want.
Yum,
they want to smoke. They want to drink. They want to eat. They want to kill. So it's like the worst parts of humanity put on display.
And they want to reproduce. And how do they reproduce? Jumping in a giant pool.
Yeah, they want to reproduce.
They want to eat, drink, smoke, and fuck.
As rapidly as possible without any thoughts about the potential consequences.
Yes.
They just want to go, 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 go.
Did we just have a dissertation of Gremlins?
A little bit, I guess. But I guess it's present in the film. Yeah. What were we? Oh, the kitchen scene?
Yeah.
The mom. Do you know how that scene was originally supposed to end?
Tell me.
There are two scenes that never got filmed that were in the script for Gremlins, and it's because I don't know if it was Spielberg. I don't think it was. I think it was Warner Brothers in general who said, "We're not." Oh, he's going for a little potato teaser. He thought I wouldn't. I thought I wouldn't mention it, but he's got it.
Cool. I'll do a cool food review.
Yeah,
hey guys, if you're watching, you know me. It's kind of Gremlin time. It's another cool food review. Swenson's edition. Doing the potato teasers. Got a little cheesy potato with some jalapeno slices in here. Just going to take a bite.
And it's got to be said, I'm so jealous that you have that. That sounds so good to me right now. Love a teaser. Here it comes. What does he think? Let's find out.
Pretty good. But gotta wash it down with California.
It's pretty good. If you're a Northeast Ohio locale, doesn't get better than Swenson's.
Pretty good.
Swenson's greater than Sonic every day.
Oh yeah,
every day.
All right, let's get back to it. Tell me how does it end?
The two scenes that they wanted to film for Gremlins but never did. And I think it was because Warner Brothers said, absolutely not. That is way too intense. This is a PG movie. The Gremlins were supposed to, one, kill Billy's dog.
Thank God they didn't.
Murder Billy's dog. You think that's bad? This scene with the mom was originally supposed to end with the Gremlins beheading her and throwing her head down the stairs. Can you believe that? Can you imagine if that was in this movie?
That would have been insane. And I'm all there for it.
See, I'm like, that is definitely a version of Gremlins, but it is not this movie. That's an entire different movie. There would be no PG-13 question on that. That's an R-rated movie. But I think it was Spielberg who eventually said, yeah, that's not the movie we're making, guys. Come on. Because that's what they wanted. They wanted a horror creature feature influence film, but also you could take your family to go see it. But even then, still in '84, families were not sure how to process something like this because kids were probably naturally pretty scared by it. Because that's scary. This kitchen scene is scary.
Yeah,
it is a bit of a tonal shift where
yes, they are. A gremlin get blended.
Yeah, that's kind of disturbing to watch him get chopped up.
See one get launched into a microwave and exploded. Gives it a nice nuke and just explodes.
Yeah, I felt kind of bad for the Gremlins. I was like, you guys are definitely messing things up, no doubt. Christmas is canceled because of you guys. which is.
I was also laughing when the one was just launching plates at the mom.
The Gremlins are stinkers. It's got to be said. A bunch of green stinkers. But I did still feel bad when she, turned one into chutney. Another one exploded. And the one she just stabs to death with a knife. She just stabs. And when they go to cut back to the wide, he's still alive, scrambling there with a knife in his chest.
Like he said,
that's a gremlin and dying and suffering. And like they're definitely goofballs. They made a mess of your kitchen, and then don't get me wrong, I'd be very upset if someone made a mess of my kitchen.
You can replace the china. Like did you need to massacre them?
Stab them in the chest. Although I guess it's got to be said, had she not, there's a version of this film where her decapitated head gets rolled down the steps like a bowling ball. So.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's where I was like, oh, that they deserve what's coming to them was when the one pulls out a gun in the bar. I was like, this is the first time anybody's in like mortal danger. I mean, you can argue the cops, but ACAB, right? So I didn't really feel that enough.
Do you think AGAB? Do you think all gremlins are bastards?
Not all of them. There's got to be a sweet one out there, right? So
I don't know. I haven't met him.
It's ACAB for sure. But so I didn't really feel bad about that, like them cutting the brakes on the cop car. But the first time I was truly like, all right, fuck these gremlins, was when the one like just sneaks around the door frame in the bar and like points a gun at her at Phoebe Cates. I was like, oh, he's trying to straight up murder her.
Yeah.
With a firearm.
But it is like a little tiny
firearm.
Where did he get the tiny gun? I love the idea.
Yeah, that was the first time I was like, oh, fuck these gremlins.
But the bar scene is good. Again, I love that it opens with her just like serving them.
Yeah.
Like she doesn't have any time to think about what should I do here. She's like, they're sitting down, they got tables, they're asking me for things. I'll just give it to them, I guess.
Maybe they'll pay.
And then we do have Gizmo on the dartboard. That's why they're irredeemable, because they're being mean to Gizmo.
Yeah.
And they always get this close to murdering him, but they clearly take pleasure in the long process of torturing Gizmo, which I also want to get into the psychology of that. It's because like he's what you were born from.
Yeah, like don't you want him to stay?
He's the seed of the family tree.
Because once you guys die, eventually, like it's inevitable, just like all death on this life. Anyways, once they die, like that's it.
Although it is true though that we see in this film when they fall in the pool that if you get a gremlin wet, they just make more gremlins.
Yeah.
The second one gets a little more into that. But yeah, if you just get a gremlin wet, they skip the whole Mogwai thing and go straight to more gremlins, which is when you see them invading the street. There's also, it's very interesting. I learned this today. I didn't know this. The scene with Gizmo on the dartboard, where they're throwing darts at him, was added as a treat to the filmic, because I guess the Gizmo like puppet animatronic was notoriously difficult. It was constantly fucking up and like just the source of so much stress and anxiety that they made this list of things they wanted to do to Gizmo, and one of them was attach him to a dartboard and throw darts at him. So they created that whole thing for the staff and ended up making it a part of the film.
So pretty much a lot of like the torture to Gizmo is because they didn't like the animatronic Gizmo.
They got very resentful towards Gizmo, which is kind of a Spielberg thing. Obviously, Jaws. The reason you don't see much of the shark, Bruce the shark, in Jaws, is because the animatronic kept fucking up, and that became part of the film's legacy. Was that you don't see the shark very much. So I guess again that kind of resonates in Gremlins that. The film is so mean to Gizmo because the filmmakers were so tired of Gizmo by the time this movie was over. And then after that, let's also talk about Phoebe Cates' character a little bit. Again, the weird tonal shifts of this film. It all works. It makes this very distinct flavor of movie. But is she a downer or what? She makes that comment earlier in the film of like, some people open their presents. Other people are opening their wrists at Christmas. I was like, holy shit, that's pretty bleak for a PG.
Yeah, and then there was the when she's talking about the backstory with her dad, right?
Yeah, which is just like, what on earth is that scene?
Yeah.
Like, why don't you like Christmas? It just tells this insane, harrowing story of like my dad went missing. And one Christmas I went to light a fire and got this weird smell. And it turned out my dad's dead body. He dressed up like Santa to deliver gifts down the chimney. We were roasting my dad's corpse in the chimney. So I'm not that into Christmas anymore. It was like,
didn't he like break his back and get stuck in the chimney and nobody knew? Oh my God. Yeah, I was like, what the fuck?
yeah, man. Like, it feels like the film kind of almost, it does. I want to say it grinds to a halt, but it definitely, it makes you go like, what is happening? What is she like? Where did this come from? And then, which again, I don't know if you remember this, but they parody it in the second film where they're like talking about Abraham Lincoln. She's like, oh God, don't even tell me about Lincoln. And she starts going on this story. She's like, it all happened to me on Abraham Lincoln's birthday, my family. And then like something happens and cuts her off. But like the second film is so weird. It's a direct like parody of everything in this movie. All the like earnest choices in this movie, they make fun of it in the sequel. It's such a strange movie. But yeah, her character is just bizarre. Very strange choices made in the script with that character. And then again, of course, you got to talk about the movie theater scene. Which is amazing. When I was watching that, I was like, when I saw the scene, I thought as soon as the Watt fam gets the vaccine, this is us at the movies.
Yeah.
This is just going buck wild, dude, like throwing shit in the air. We're just all hanging out, loving the movies, singing fucking Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. I love the visuals of Gremlins doing people things is so satisfying. I guess that's maybe why I end up feeling bad for them when they get killed, because they're so funny. And when they're dressed up like people, they got their little buckets of popcorn. Hi ho, hi ho. I'm like, look at them. They're just having a great time at the movies. We're better than this.
I know. I did the same thing. As soon as I saw that, I was like, oh, that's the Watt fam.
This is me and the boys at a night out. Just imagine there was 200 of us.
Going to the bar, getting buck wild, spinning from ceiling fans, and then going to the movies later and also getting equally buck wild.
I love it. It's a great scene. I try to figure out if there was any reason why they picked Snow White to be the film they want. I couldn't find anything.
Domain.
What was it?
It was probably public domain by then, right?
I mean, they're watching the Disney film. I don't know. I like if there was any story reason that was why what they picked. That I couldn't. I think I saw that it was like released around Christmas time. I think when it came out, or like maybe that was their thing, was like it would be playing at Christmas time or something like that. I don't. It was just like, it seems like such a particular choice for the Gremlins to be watching Snow White, which again carries over to the second film. They still love Snow White in the second film. But I thought that was a great scene. Again, and even still, like when Billy and Kate, when they kill all the Gremlins in that scene, I was like, I kind of feel bad for them though, because they're just living their best life, having a good night.
Yeah.
But Spike survives, and then you get, which all is setting up Gizmo's hero scene, which is such a smart way to end it, because Gizmo is such a victim throughout the entire film. He's victimized by the people. He's victimized by Gremlins. He's victimized by this economy. He is too good for everybody in the world. He's too good for the shop owner in Chinatown. He's too good for Billy. He's too good for his own offspring. He's so pure. And they reckon with that in the second film too, where he pulls a Rambo, starts killing Gremlins. But yeah, that Gizmo, he drives the toy car, and at the end of the day, everything is saved because Gizmo kills Spike, exposes him to light. We get that great. I just love the practical effects of this. You get that great scene of being exposed to the light and Spike dying and melting, his skin's bubbling, turns into like a skeleton and reduces to a puddle of goop. Great. I love, again, we said it before. The only like practical shot of this that doesn't really hold up is that one where they're walking in the street. Otherwise, it looks pretty goddamn great.
Yeah.
It really holds up. And I guess it's a testament. It's kind of almost a cliche to be like, practical effects, I don't like CG. But so much, imagine if they try to use some sort of rudimentary like CG in this film. It would totally tar the legacy of it.
Mm-hmm.
But because it is practical effects, it's puppets, it's animatronics, and it's the same in the second film too. They stick to those practical effects, and they look even better, even more polished. Gizmo's even cuter in the second film. Sometimes in this film he makes like weird Gizmo. I hate, oh my god, when he gets water on him and he makes that horrible face.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
and then he's like kicking and
yeah.
I'm like,
I wanted to just throttle Billy. How could you let this happen?
Just full on, just bum rush him.
It's bad. I'm not saying I'm responsible enough to have a Mogwai, but how could you be that irresponsible? Fuck up.
I think I'd be pretty responsible with a Mogwai.
It seems like almost your whole life has to revolve. You can't.
Can you imagine just like snacking in bed and you lose track of time and you've got a little Mogwai under your arm and he's like, give me a chip. And you're like, all right, buddy.
Yeah, I don't have what it takes to not get.
You're right. I wouldn't have the power to withhold myself from being like, oh, you're so fucking cute. Here's a chip.
You just walked through the whole thing right there. I would probably break all the rules eventually, but I think I would last more than the first week before
Oh yeah, absolutely.
My entire town was burned down as a result of it. I would get there eventually, but
yeah,
just Billy fucked up so bad. I can't believe how I hate seeing Gizmo in pain. But yeah, he saves the day, and then eventually, yes, the shop owner comes and collects him, and he's right too, because these people can't handle the responsibility of owning Gizmo, and he's taken away. But this film is beautiful.
It is a beautiful film. Honestly, 5 out of 5. Second one I'm giving.
Yeah, if there was ever a 5 to give, we're talking Gremlins. This thing that we've really never talked about a film that's been this significant, this beloved, that is considered a classic. This is a legendary film. People come back to this every year, and it holds up so well on a production standpoint, from a story standpoint. This is just a classic film. Of course, it's 5 out of 5.
Yeah, 5 cute ass Gizmos.
Who would I be to tell you it's not a 5? Gremlins rules. And I do like the second one a lot. I'm glad I revisited it. It's a it's such a weird movie. It's so weird. This is very straightforward comparatively. But I think part of it, what makes it all interesting and it makes the legacy hold up, is it hasn't been revisited since the second one. All this time later, there's not been that reboot or any of that kind of stuff, which I think a lot of things by the 80s have been, kind of marred by that. They've not been able to avoid it somehow. And there must be some weird rights thing, because it almost is hard to believe that Warner Brothers, all decades later, didn't revisit this property. Obviously, they trusted Joe Dante to be the one to tell these stories, and Chris Columbus, as we said, has written a script for the third one. We don't know what it's about, but he's cited like, oh yeah, it's a whole legal thing that's getting in the way of it getting made right now. So I don't know what that film would be about. I don't know where you go with the Gremlins 3. But
is that technically because it's Amblin, and Amblin is with Universal now?
That might be it. That could be it. Yeah.
Is that where the rights are? And Spielberg is too pissed off that Quibi didn't make it, so he's like,
was he a Quibi guy?
Yeah, he was like a prominent Quibi investor, even though he was so anti-streaming.
Okay, well, Quibi was, that was something else. That was one of a kind. You only get one Quibi in your lifetime. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's something where like the streaming rights and the movie rights or whatever are different or separate entities. I don't know. But I think if they bring Gremlins back, and I think inevitably, well, obviously they're doing this series, but if they did a film, I think there's room to just call it Gremlins 3.
Now that you explain how like iconic the first two are, and there's not too many of them, that a straight up Gremlins 3 wouldn't be horrible. Because
yeah, it's
something that's been clamored for forever.
Yeah, I don't think it's out of the question. Chris Columbus wrote it. He wrote the first two films, and I would say I know he's getting up there, but if Joe Dante is not interested in doing it, then it's maybe not worth doing. Because I guess they had to fight like tooth and nail to finally get him to do the second one. He was like, the first one was such a logistic nightmare. It was stressful. I don't even know what the next one would be about. I don't want to do it. And then they eventually like brought him in and said, you can do whatever you want. And so he said, okay, I'm going to do this bizarre Looney Tunes parody with a Hulk Hogan cameo, and like Gremlins exists as a movie in Gremlins 2. And Gremlins 2 is so weird. So they just like gave him the blank check and he ran with it. Do it again for 3. I think people would get so excited about Gremlins 3. I do want to say, I mean, this is not a bad pull. I saw it in chat.
Yeah.
Mike Doherty doing Gremlins. You know,
you see some of his like puppet work in Krampus.
Krampus, we talked about last week. Did Krampus. A great example. I mean, there it is, right? I mean, that's a great pull because it's a fusion of horror and comedy with a Christmas flavor to it. So guy gets it, and he loves monsters. I mean, he did the Godzilla movie, he did Trick or Treat. He loves all these things. So that would be a great pull, although I would still love to see, if possible, if the interest is there.
Obviously, we want to see the guy who kind of fathered these movies to come back. But, you know, if he passes on it and they're like, we're making Gremlins 3, no, that's a good like second choice.
Yeah, that's a great pull. I mean, I think we've said all we can say on Gremlins, unless I've missed anything.
No, I think that's it. I mean, we gushed about Gremlins for so long now.
It's the good old Gremlins gush. This film is amazing. It's not even a thing where I need to recommend. Gremlins. You know, you've all seen it, and if you haven't, you owe it to yourself to check it out. Even if it traumatized you as a child, and you're like, I can't go back to that world. Go back to that world. It's a very funny, very charming, great horror comedy with some racially insensitive details that don't hold up. But everything else holds up pretty good. Effects hold up well. It's just a great movie. Love Gremlins. Before we wrap it up tonight, we do have kind of I don't want to say a sad announcement, but definitely a different kind of announcement in that sorry to say it, but this actually is our last live episode of Reely Scared in 2020. We'll just chalk it up to some personal reasons, but we can't do live episodes for the rest of the month, unfortunately. It's just not going to line up with our schedule, and we're just not going to be able to commit to the quality we like to. This high quality program that we put on here. We aren't going to be able to maintain that quality while being live at the same time. We're still going to do our Black Christmas episode. That's next week, where we're going to compare all 3 renditions of the film. We're still going to do that. It's going to be pre-recorded, though. It's not going to be live, unfortunately. Same with our book club episode, where we're doing a Secret Santa by Andrew Schaefer.
We've got news about book club as well. That's also equally as heartbreaking, but you know, it's just something that we kind of both agreed on. This will be our last book club for the foreseeable future. We definitely will be bringing it back, but for the next few months, we'll be without a book club. But don't worry, January, we're already kind of building so far, pretty packed. Lots of good stuff already. Very excited about January. Season 2, I've been calling it, of Reely Scared.
Yeah, we're kind of rebuilding Reely Scared from the ground up in 2021. I think we definitely have a lot of really exciting things coming. We won't expand on that just yet. Yeah, we're planning some really cool things.
The teasing seeds.
Yes, a little potato teaser, if you will. But yes, Secret Santa by Andrew Schaefer will be our last episode of the month, last episode of the year, and that'll be our last book club for the foreseeable future. It's not done, but we're going to put it on a shelf for a little bit and decide to take it back down, perhaps at some time in 2021. That's right, Real Entertainment Phase 3. That's right, we work in phases now. So this is our last time we'll be speaking to you live in 2020. Kind of bittersweet, but we've got 2 more shows coming up before the month is over. We've got a lot of great content left. Again, let it be said, if you're not following us on Twitch already, go ahead and give us a follow. I guess you won't see us on Twitch for the rest of the year, but those episodes will go on YouTube. They will go on the audio platforms, obviously. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, and iHeartRadio. So you can find those there. But this will be our last live discussion with you guys, Ghouls and Goblins, for the year.
And make sure you follow our Watt Entertainment Twitter and Facebook, because we'll be posting the winner. I would assume we're posting the winner of the Teespring drawing on our Watt Real Entertainment socials on Sunday or Monday. Are we going to do Sunday?
The idea is that we'll be drawing that name during Real Talk this Sunday to figure out who the.
So tune in then, and if you miss it, we'll post it on our socials, and you can pick something out, and we'll send it to you.
There it is. Sunday after Real Talk, they will go live on socials. There it is. So if you haven't followed us on Twitch already, get in there, get on the list, get in the drawing, and you can have one free item of choice from our Teespring. Could be anything: coffee mugs, fanny packs, hoodies, stickers, whatever you want. It doesn't have to be Really Scared. I won't be upset if it's not Really Scared. You can pick anything out of that shop. It's up to you. We'll send it to you for free for the gracious follow on Twitch. We appreciate it. We'll see you next week. Again, pre-recorded episode, not a live episode. We'll see you next week. We're talking about Black Christmas, 1974 versus 2006 versus 2019, comparing and contrasting all three renditions of that story. In the meantime, come back to this channel on Saturday for our Star Wars holiday special watch along with Matt, Toby, and Chris. Sunday, it'll be Real Talk. Of course, we've got Wrestle Reel after that next week. We've got Spin from the Reel. So much great programming, so much great content on this channel. So tune in. Thank you for watching tonight. Thank you for listening if you did after the fact. We've got our Really Trivia Showdown event coming later this month. So many great matches. My client, the Rager, in the first ever tag team match, teaming up with the Seaman Demon, going against Kids at Heart. The Master in a massive title defense match against Tommy Blaine. Will the Master be defeated for the first time, or will he prevail as he so far has only done? We will see. It's going to be a big one. Can't wait for that. So much great stuff coming throughout the month, throughout the rest of 2020 here at Who Are They Real Entertainment. So thank you for subscribing and following if you have. If you haven't, get on that. We got a lot of great stuff coming. And if you're watching live right now, stick around on Twitch because my man Connie Cyberpunk is going live. So you got something to look forward to before this night's even over. Thank you, Ghouls and Goblins. Happy Reelydays. And if you stay up past midnight, no snacks.
No snacks.
No snacks. Good night.